Or you know what? You can get people in there. Right. CJ, entertain us.
Is that you up there?
I'm doing it right now because it had to go live first so I can see it.
Oh yeah, baby, we are in here.
Rhode Island Roundtable. We're doing a series of conversations on the Rhode Island scene. Compliments of Dante Martin.
Yes, sir.
Let me see if I'm live yet.
Wait, first of all, it's compliments of CLBMG.
Yes, that part.
And don't get emotional.
And don't get emotional podcast.
And Clash the podcast. It's the network.
The network.
The network. There you go. The network. That's what we want. It's the network.
So there it is. It's live.
We live. Let's rock and roll.
Shout out to the boy, man. Let's see what we're seeing.
Now, this will be an interesting conversation right now, even though people are here right now. Because I can tell you this much. CJ don't really know. He's like,
let me know when you're ready.
Oh, it's
showtime. Go ahead, record it. You can record it.
All right.
Yo.
What up, fam? We looking clean.
Everybody starts sending the people. But as we talking, hey, CJ.
What's up?
You're going to set us off.
I am.
I'm going to tell you why.
So.
He's a promoter.
All right.
I'm an artist. I'm gonna get some engineer somewhere around here to talk on stuff. But you're new to the whole media scene. The media scene. You're new to the music scene. Well, not new, but give your perception on your observation of the music scene. Have you ever been to like a Rhode Island concert, like seeing rappers that you didn't know?
I haven't.
So, what would be your perception, your view on that? But like, what would be your expectation? Like, what would you want to see? That's why I said this is important to ask this question because.
All right. What I like to see, obviously, you there?
We good.
All right. I like to see.
Send it out.
I like to see support. I like to see support. I like to see somebody obviously moving the crowd, feeding up the energy. The aura and everything, and people. Obviously, people chanting his artist's name, this and that. Just good feedback. Even hear somebody probably reciting their lines while they're rapping or even singing. So, for me, going to my first show, that's what I would, 100% expect and everything.
So this is going to be, April 4th is going to be your first time ever seeing, you're going to see me for the first time.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah. You're going to see Charles for the first
April
time.
April 4th, Alchemy, Nightclub.
Speak on it.
Super Friends, the very first Super Friends. It's all Rhode Island artists. All artists that I've seen put in mad work over the years. It's myself. It's Dante, Fliz, TJ Soars, Shiesty L, Freddie Black, and I know I'm not forgetting Fliz. Fliz gonna be rocking. Bugsy Black coming up. Rocks with me. That's my son. He's coming up from Maryland. He's gonna rock with Prodigal. Him and Raheem the Voice. I know I ain't forgetting nobody. Let me make sure I ain't forgetting nobody out of that lineup.
You should speak on that lineup.
It's going to be a crazy night, and I got a surprise versus. We're doing the very first live. I don't know if it's the first, but I feel like it's the first live versus. 2 Rhode Island staples. Dante going to go versus against Fliz, an artist named Fliz, who's on his way. So what we're doing today is a series of they're going to be conversations about Rhode Island hip-hop. Based around
not just Rhode Island hip hop, because
Rhode Island scene. I'm sorry,
Remy Jones is coming in.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Rhode Island scene itself, the entertainment scene. How about that?
Yes.
And I'm looking at the lineup of the show coming up, and I didn't forget nobody. It looked like I didn't forget nobody. So it's gonna be a great night at the no cover charges. Make sure you get a drink when you get there, and come see a great show. And that's a testament of what we trying to bring back the scene. The scene ain't gone nowhere; it's still here. You know what I'm saying? We ain't lose nothing. But end of the day, we want to make it stronger where a lot of cities like Atlanta, when they put out a song, they got a whole network already. Right? They got people they already know that's plugged in and they can piggyback off. That's why a lot of young artists, when they're in these bigger cities, they got more chance to succeed. And really here, it's very few chances. It's been like that for years, where the chances of you succeeding are very low. Right, and success takes on a different meaning in Rhode Island, right? If you can get 100 people to come see you in Rhode Island, you're successful. To be honest with you, so it's like that's not success in the media, in the national conversation. which in a lot of cities, everybody not super, like they don't have 3,000-4,000 fans at their beck and call, but you always got a smaller scene. But how can we make this small scene be what we need it to be for us to be viable? Like some people should be able to quit their job and do artistic work for a living. You should be able to decide, okay, I'm 19, I just graduated, I want to do music, and I want to do it locally. And I may not have a whole full 4-piece band. You know what I'm saying? Like when you put a 4 or 5-piece band together, you can travel and do whatever you need to do. But that requires unity. That requires people to believe in each other and to be professional. But when you're just an artist in a room with all you got is some Pro Tools and some beats offline,
link all your friends up because somebody.
What can you do to actually become a viable, someone that can make money from this situation? And that's what we're here to discuss. How can we? It ain't even just about money. It's about the scene itself being splintered,
unified.
Right. The scene, in my opinion, is splintered, and a lot of people can come together, but they just won't. Right. And we got it's many different factors in this. It's like street factors, right? It's political connections, who likes who and who been cool with who.
Yeah.
And it's also just networking opportunities. Where can you go? Where can everybody go to be in one place? And what I'm saying, like what I'm doing on the 4th, I'm putting out a table for artists to put their music on it. You can put your merch, anything. I haven't even announced yet, but I'm going to have it set up where anybody bring anything in. They can put it on the table and sell it. We're going to be exchanging ideas, exchanging merch. It's going to be a thing where you got music, you want to meet people, you want to shake hands, you want to meet producers. They're going to be in the building. It's going to be a night to remember. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't take nothing to begin a conversation. Like Lad started one last week. He didn't mean to. I think it was like a week and a half.
Doesn't matter if he meaning to.
Right, but they asked him. He was on Franchise. Shout out to Franchise, if I'm not mistaken. He was on Franchise down at the radio station. BRU. Am I tripping?
It don't matter.
And
he started a conversation.
And he said they asked him his 10 favorite Rhode Island DJs. He said 10 names. He said, you caught me. I wasn't expecting to do this, but I'm gonna give you my 10. And it started a whole conversation. Like the whole week, everybody was naming their 10. They were talking about who was left off. This guy should have been on. It went national. It became a very big deal. He even had to come out and clarify what he said. It just went what it should have did. That's what. When you step back and look at it, it was beautiful because who was talking about Rhode Island DJs before that?
Correct.
Right. So
correct.
when he sparked that conversation, he pretty much threw an entire monkey wrench in the matrix. Because right now, if you ask the average person about a Rhode Island DJ, they'd be like, "What's that?" Like if you're not on Hot 106, right? They don't know you, or if they don't go to clubs a lot, who are you talking about? So it's like if we only talk, most of the people that you're going to bring up are old people, old school people, right? I think the oldest person in the whole list got to be 35 years old.
The oldest?
Youngest, I mean, say the youngest person. No. The youngest person on the whole list got to be like 35, probably. Like, I think it was like little, what's the name? But end of the day, right? It was beautiful because a lot of people that we haven't heard of, and all these guys still working in some capacity, but their name came up, and now their name was generating, and now their name was buzzing, and we had 5 honorable mentions over here, and this guy that a lot of people had a debate about people they haven't thought about in years, and it made the whole scene look like, wow, this is beautiful. We got a whole culture here that people forgetting about, just like what Versus did for 90s music. Now we talking about who? We talking about freaking D Nice again, and then all this stuff during the pandemic. We had Keith Sweat singing to a glass of Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? So we had a whole movement last year about old stuff, which is really timeless stuff. So now we're talking about the DJs.
So going on that list, that's what CJ, because you was asking, what are we talking about? What is the discussion? Is basically, I took it as it was a celebration of people, and it's like,
elaborate.
When you let's just think about like if we was to do a universal hip hop, what we was talking about earlier, like the top 5s. Every time you say a top 5, and we had another person that was saying that it's going to be favoritism. Why this person? So when we talk about the South, and we say like Scarface. Why? Because he was like the first name, the biggest name coming out of the South. Somebody would say T.I. But if you go to UGK,
Right.
who was that group you was telling me about earlier when we was in your car?
Street Military.
Do you know who they are,
In Houston.
Charles?
I don't.
See, and that's what I was saying. See, so when somebody does a list and they bring names out that, because when I'm in your car and I'm just like, yo, I don't even know who those dudes are. And he said, and you're younger than me, and you know who they are.
Right.
So that plays a importance of why a list is important, because again, it'll bring up a name like, yo, I forgot all about them. Like we was talking about top groups, and some people would say Outkast, Mobb Deep. Then I'll be like, okay, where's EPMD on that list? Because they consistent. They have. I was like, what's their wackest album? You can't even say one.
Sure.
And then even after EPMD, Eric Sherman bought the Redmans, the Keith Murrays, the who else came off of the I said Redman, Keith Murray, who else? A few others that came out of that umbrella. So that's why I believe a list is very important on why we should discuss it and actually celebrate the people, because that's what this is all about today. I want to celebrate those that I seen come up in the game, in the Rhode Island scene. And one of the things that I really want Charles to talk about is this is a man who came from a scene in DC. He's from DC, and he established himself there, and then came to Rhode Island, and now establishing himself here. So my question is, if he was able to do that himself, why haven't others done it? And I'm not saying that people have not done it before, because we was talking about how C and J did it before in the past. Who else?
A lot of people did.
Right. Like I said, see, bringing up a name like C and J, people gonna be like, who's that? And it's a conversation. Rest in peace, CR. Chachi was a part of that label. Evil was a part of that label. Swan Nadi was a part of that label. Roulette. So it brings up a bunch of names. What was her name? Crystal Blue, I think, the singer. Ninth Wonder was like the Eighth Wonder. Eighth Wonder was a part. See, that's what I said. That they had an actual label that was like Rockefeller back in the day. So that's all I wanted you to speak on, because you're, as a promoter, as an artist, as somebody that's from a different region, you came here and you actually set up shop. Like this is your doing.
First of all, I want to say, Lad said he want to chime in from his car when he get a chance. He just hit me on Facebook. We were just talking about Lad with the DJ list. He said,
If
sorry,
you could connect it. I know a bunch of people couldn't make things work. That's what I said.
You can
one
figure it out.
One thing I forgot to mention, it really slipped my mind. I didn't lie to y'all. You said if I seen an artist, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this guy. He used to rap. His name was Tech from Street Legal, Grand Time Tech. And,
he's from here?
Yeah, he's from here. He's from
you know him?
I might.
Street Legal. This is way back, man. It's probably like 14, 15. And I think it was at one of the spots downtown. Could have been level 2, I'm not too sure. But what stood out to me with that, he was performing songs. He had some people stayed. I guess it was 2 sides to that club. There was another side.
Yes, level 2 had
that
2
was
sides.
level 2. Yeah, but a good part of the crowd drifted to the other side. Either they wasn't familiar with the songs, they just probably wasn't feeling the local talent. But kid had talent. The kid had talent. He had some good stuff. He was doing his thing. He was out there in New York with Rail for a few times. But I did go see that. And I vividly just remember. I just really remember people going to the other side. But some of us stayed though, because I support. I went to school with the kid.
So what was the experience like? Because as an artist, I'm an artist that speaks. My appearance on the stage is I cater like a fan. Like when I'm looking, I'm like, what do I want to project? Like what do supporters? I don't even like calling people fans. What do supporters like?
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I'm very particular about my songs. I want you to be able to sing along with me. I want you to be a part of what I'm doing. Like if you was actually in the room when I wrote these songs, I want you to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking from how did you feel seeing this, not being an artist, but being someone that I'm experienced? What was the experience like?
I was happy for him. I was really, really happy for him. This dude was.
No, but I'm talking about your experience,
okay.
not happy for him, because
Yeah.
again, see, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because back in the day, we had a big scene.
Right.
I was looking at videos from when we was the project. We was ALE Audio Liquor, and I'm looking at the crowd. I'm like, wow, like what happened to all the room used to be packed. Me and who them? We had back to back record release parties. I think theirs was in September and mine was in October. Back to back pack at the Black Rec. Chachi releases packed. There was a scene one day. What happened? Like, is the talent lower and people's like, you know what? I don't want to see this no more. Like,
Can
what
I help
happened?
you? Can I address that? So, all right. So it's complicated, but at the end of the day, everything changes. I'm going to tell you the major thing that you probably even thought of because it's not something that most people think about. The nightlife structure. Go downtown right now. How many clubs down there? Not even one. There's no nightclubs down there. Where you gonna perform? They got venues that you can do a rock show at.
But you could do because like the district you could do like it depends on what kind of
exactly.
See,
where's Ultra? Where's Level 2? Where's Jerky's? Where's Karma? Look, there's a bunch of clubs, and you could get people to come down there. Jerky's was the number one spot, and even before Jerky's, what was that? What was that spot?
Nah, Jerky's was because you had the living room.
That's what I was going to say.
You had
living room.
Loopholes, the original loopholes.
Okay, first of all, hold on. Living room was way back. Like that's like probably the 90s.
Nah,
I get it. It was there for a while. And it's gone. What's there? What we got? Alchemy just started again with doing the shows like that, right?
Right.
That
Parlor.
The parlor but the parlor is the parlor. That's like how many people you get in 80?
Doesn't matter. You can still.
If you get 50 people in there. So what I'm saying is you referenced when Audio Liquor used to do them shows at Jerky's, and Jerky's had a venue. Jerky's had a capacity of 400, and we was beating the capacity with a lot of our shows. They were sneaking people in there. They was supposed to. They was like, yo, like if they can we can squeeze them in, get them in.
Right.
When we did not Chic Luch, Styles P. I did Styles P with Jerky's. People was fighting to get in because they wouldn't let because the doors it was too many people, and they were still letting people in, but they was over capacity. That can't happen at a spot like the parlor. I can't bring a Styles P to the parlor. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like those type of venues where you could bring a Styles P, Chic Luch. When you brought up, well, you didn't bring up. We was before this show. You brought up Seattle Beast and all that. When me and Seattle Beast was doing Jerky's with these people, the Locks, all these different people. I did Slaughterhouse down there. Just a lot of different people.
Sticky Fingers in them.
KRS-One, Killer Priest. I mean, it could go on and on. All that. But you don't have no way for that. Right? It's gatekeepers now. Right now, if you ain't getting loopholes, where you going to do your show at? How you going to bring these artists here? And then a lot of people don't want the drama that's coming with it.
I was going to say, do you think the violence that is
right now, there's and on another level that we're not even going to touch, there's like a low-key war going on. These kids killing each other in broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of drama with this that people got to address before we even start talking about opening up the scene again. You know what I'm saying? And then people got to come out. People got to come out to these shows. I did Cuban Link, right? The worst loss I ever took was on Cuban Link show. I brought Cuban Link to North Providence. Little spot. I get that. But I thought all my Spanish people was going to come out because they're like, yo, we waiting to Cuban Link. I put everything on this show. And it was dead. Dead. I took a bath when I lost relationships because of that. With people in the business, like, yo, you played us. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't speak about a lot of stuff. But people thought I took money from because the show did so bad. So I'm like, why would I do more shows like that with people not coming out? So you got to think, yeah, we got the rappers. Yeah, if you give me the rappers and the venues and the money, everything of that, then the people still got to want to come to the show. So it's like where the scene died, the entire thing died at once. It crumbled.
So
people complain that they don't like openers. And then the openers, that's an issue because then without the openers, you ain't coming anyway. So what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Why would we do a show with no openers? You put the artists up there and ain't nobody in the building. You only coming out for like Fabulous at Lupo's, or you coming out for Jada at Lupo's. You're not coming to the small venues, right? KRS-One don't even come in no more because he don't have nowhere to go. Right? When the last time you seen him here? Somebody gonna say, oh, well, he was in Newport something. Well, who knew? Who was down there? So what I'm saying is we don't have the venues that we used to have. And we don't have the desire to see these people. Right? The young kids ain't coming out for the older people. And the older people ain't coming out for the younger people.
So so
So what
stay
we
right
doing?
there. Stay right there. So you think it's a generational gap? Because what you just spoke on, it's like, so as a promoter, if you was to bring so to get the younger generation, who would you feel like you need to bring?
Well, like I said, it's not about bringing who you're going to bring. It's about, I think it's about people not coming out because for one, they don't feel safe.
Right.
For two, everybody wants to do hookah. If you ain't doing hookah, what rap show you seeing with hookah in it? So people only coming out. Is it hookah there? They only coming to venues to lounge now, to do hookah and lounge. They're not coming to see nobody rap. Right? Is that am I bugging? When I'm lying,
they don't even dance no more.
Send me out. Send me to the hallway. Say you time out. You leave 5 minutes when I start lying. They don't want to. They want to drink and smoke hookah.
Yeah, right.
Or record themselves, their girlfriend. So they're not coming to pay to see Freeway or this and that. Even though I did have a pretty successful Freeway show at Ultra years ago. But that even had its own problems at the end of the day. But what I'm saying is, when these people, when they don't want to come out to anything other than hookah, this club's dying right now. If you can't get a hookah license, your club's dying. Am I right? You tell me, do you go anywhere without hookah? I'm not saying you smoke or you don't. I'm just saying right now to get people out, they'll go up on Federal Hill and sit at shout out to a couple spots up there. Black owned, minority owned spots that got hookah licenses. They'll pay $150 to sit there and smoke hookah and drink before they pay you $25 to see any rapper.
Correct. I agree.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you competing with that right now.
That was an excellent point.
You competing with that right now. They don't care about nobody rapping. They can go in their car and play any song they want and turn right up. Or at the hookah spot, they playing whatever they want to hear. Right? So what they need to pay to see you for? If it ain't a big event at a big stadium, they're not coming to see, especially local acts. Shout out to Grim. He's doing something amazing down there at True.
Correct.
What is it, Thursday nights?
Yeah.
Every Thursday night, the locals.
Not every. He got it's every third.
Every third Thursday.
I'm going to be there in April.
Okay, so every third Thursday, Grim is doing locals only, which is becoming a staple in the community. And we need that, right?
Correct.
And it's starting to get the psyche of people it's movements like that's getting the psyche back to, oh, it is people out here performing. Because before the locals only, after I had left, I haven't done nothing in about 5 years.
Hey,
all my stuff was local artists orientated.
Patricia Rose.
Yeah.
She said I disagree 100%.
On
I
what?
go to shows to see music, not for well, you're of our age though, Patricia.
That's what's the last show she went to?
Nah, she goes to shows.
What show?
She went to matter of fact, if it wasn't Alicia Keys, she just went and she
you just said Alicia Keys. We're talking about local artists.
No. She'll go to a show though. I'm saying in general, but she's of our age bracket.
Okay.
So that's why when she said I disagree, because you were talking about the hookah, so you talk about the younger generation. He's talking about the younger generation. That's what. So go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, for the most part, people not going out to see no rap shows in those small venues, and that's the essence of a local scene, right? They're not going to see no singers. They're not going. We went and saw this. It was a beautiful night. We went and saw this late. It's a gentleman and a wife team. They sing and he plays the keyboard. We did it up on, I think it's called Blaze. Not Blaze. Is it Blaze? Up on.
It doesn't matter. Just go wherever.
Beautiful. Jazz. He's playing the jazzy thing. She's singing. They got to be in the 60s. It was a very classy night, right? But the venue was small. It's like a little spot. There used to be I think it used to be the Brooklyn Tea House up on.
Who cares what it is? Just get.
No, but I'm saying it makes part of the story. It's a small venue. It was probably all white people, right? All white people in their 40s and 50s.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to bring race into this too.
Wait. But so they came out. It was classy. Everybody, but it was like $60 or whatever to be, whatever it was, and we had a good time, whatever. It wasn't no rappers, it wasn't no singers just singing about humping and this and that. You know what I'm saying? It was more of an upscale thing. When you're talking about young things, well, not even young, but things with local artists, I think it all needs to be elevated.
Right.
It needs to be elevated to make people feel like, we went somewhere that was nice or what have you. So we went somewhere nice. It needs to be elevated to make people older thing come out, and it needs to be more organized, more classy, right? So I think to save the scene, I ain't gonna say save the scene because it's here, but to make it more.
Like what you say, just wipe the dirt off, wipe the dust off.
Right, it gotta be. I think it gotta be more special.
All right.
And I like what Grimm is doing because he's doing that. Troop has food, they have atmosphere, they have music. It's alive. It's just a very live event that makes you feel this is special, right?
All right.
Instead of like just random open mics and people doing whatever. I think we need to make it more special, and I think that put the right people up there,
all right,
and put in the right venue, in the right space, we could save it. We could not necessarily. I don't think it's dead,
right?
Because it is online, but it ain't. You can't really. I personally don't think you can become a star just being online.
Okay.
I think people need to see you. They need to get a sense of who you are. I don't think we fell in love with anybody just because we saw them online. I think we had to see who they were as people.
Absolutely.
Be careful with that cord. Fliss!
What up, y'all?
What's good?
Did you see us online? Did you see us live?
Nah, I wouldn't pay no attention.
We went live. But yeah, so he could pull up that chair, one of them chairs, and sit right beside Dante. And we're gonna see if you're doing a shot. Flair just said, I think Flair just knocked the camera.
Get him up to speed. This is the round
I
table.
knocked the camera?
Let me see. I'm gonna see it in a
I
minute.
knocked the camera.
Let me see why it's great move right now. If it happened, it happened right now. All right, we good.
Pleased to meet you, bro.
Okay. Rhode Island Roundtable
This is
continues.
the network, baby.
Flair's is here.
The network.
So we're talking about the scene. Guys, I am not checking the comments, so I don't know what you're saying. I apologize. But yeah, so I feel like when you left the room, I was talking about we need to class it up a little bit. Like what Grimm is doing, he's making it a night. You can eat, you can drink, you can party, you can. They got regular DJ playing music, so it's not just a whole bunch of rappers doing whatever. It feels right. It's grown up.
Yes,
right.
I agree. Yeah.
And it's more conducive to someone saying, "Let's go out." You want to get 5 of y'all, go out, hang out. That's where you want to go. A lot of people feel cool in Troop, but I would say Troop is a spot that I think people get to feel cooler than they really are. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, like you could come in now, you in this hip hop world, and there's all this eclectic hip hop going on around you, where you're like at a desk all day, and you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're in a world you're at the water cooler is your whole form of excitement. Now you're going to Troop, and it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's graffiti on the wall. It feels like a little edge to it. So I think that's beautiful what we're doing right now. What up, Flair? You know what we're talking about?
I'm catching up. So
So we're talking about we still talking about the scene itself. What happened? Why did it die?
Okay.
And my first reaction was what no one ever talks about is how the venues change. You rarely have any nightclubs. It ain't really no nightclubs downtown. You got a few rock venues, right? And you got all of the people that do go out that would see hip hop or urban music, R&B. They going to smoke hookah. They want to smoke hookah. They don't want to go out and see you rapping and like who them? That era y'all had the crowd that would go out for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would do that right now. If there ain't no hookah there, and ain't no drinks, no alcohol, they're not tripping. What you think?
It's led. To be honest, it does come with an age thing.
That's a fact.
Because our era of the people our age who was coming to see us as who them, they were cut from a certain cloth. For instance, we was born before like internet stuff, and we was born in the live music era. Now you hear a lot of young artists talking that like I've never performed, but you got a live song. You know what I mean? That might be viral. So I think the young generation knows how to be viral and get their shine off of being viral. Mm-hmm. Where we was more about shows. Mm-hmm. But another thing to be real,
but hold up, pause on that one.
You hit it on that.
I got a question though, because you know what I always say. I don't care how many people you have online. How many could you get in line?
Right, but that's not what he's talking about.
But in a sense, if you're just trying to get paper, you don't care about doing a live show if you're getting the paper.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like Why do I have to perform live if I just did something from my basement and it's viral when I'm getting paid? So, but another thing that I've witnessed personally is venues don't want hip hop because sometimes the violence went too crazy. I don't want you rowdy muckers in my venue. Yeah. Shout out to Angeli. I remember we was at the what's that joint behind McDonald's on Broad Street, the Firehouse or whatever it is. Is it called the Firehouse?
Yeah.
That joint. I remember when this was years ago when
it's right by the hood too.
Medusa Black made a hip hop show there. We all get there, all the rappers and all the artists and fans and everything. They wanted to shut down the night because they changed their whole dynamic to we don't want the hip hop in here because they didn't want a certain type of. But she had booked it months in advance, so now there was this thing where it's like we were there, like you guys still let us in. They did, but then they flipped the okie doke and they was like, all right, well we're not serving none of you ninjas alcohol up in here. Yikes. It was like how you gonna have so it was like so I remember Medusa going on stage talking about systemic racism and the whole thing to them. So I learned a lot of venues like we don't want that hip as it got more geared towards I'm repping my block, I'm shots and all that stuff. Yeah. You don't want that in
there. That's a fact. That plays a part too.
That's a fact. We spoke on like the violence, and that's 100% fact. And like and even another thing, places they don't carry Hennessy.
That's true.
A lot of bars don't have Hennessy.
You know why though? Who's associated with Hennessy?
It's a minority. It's a minority-driven.
Black dudes and Timberland boots is coming up in there one day. Hennessy.
Now, it's a great transition. Now let's talk about race. Because remember, in the early music, right? Remember how there was a young white kid.
That's the feed, just in case.
There was the young white kids that was attending the concert, singing the songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was in our crowds a lot too. When we performed. Where they at now?
The hedge broke, man. The hedge fund managers and financial advisors. But go ahead, finish.
Speak. I'm listening.
No, but what's your question?
I think that goes along also with the era of those even those white kids who came to those shows. They're now grown ass people, and a different element of white kids is up on deck now. You know what I mean?
Who is more plugged in with the pill popping? Like it's more of a different scene. They're not going to shows to see local rap that you have to already have made it. Like it's different. It's different, and it's not.
And a lot of them are the rappers now.
Yeah.
You know, like we're rapping.
That's why I wanted Fliz here. Yo, Fliz. One of the things that I believe also happened, everybody's a rapper now.
That's true.
In his song, the song that y'all gonna hear in the beginning of this on the replay, he said, "I'm from your verse on Famous. Rhode Island is famous."
I said the home of 10,000 rappers with 1,000 fans. Yeah, but that's real right there. You know?
And that's also that's another reason I believe because now it comes into the supportive system of what you were saying earlier. The lack of support is there because now everybody's in competition.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, if I go to his show, am I going to get the same support?
It's almost like if I go to your show, you better come to mine.
Right. And that's what it's more like now. It's not like I just want to go and show love and support.
Yeah.
Like right now, when I did this platform, this wasn't for just us. This was for those outside of us to come in. Like I invited a few people. If they can't make it because things come up. But I was showing unifying. I know people are working. That's why I was trying to find people's schedules, like what days you off, so we could do this on the day you was off. Because this is not the only one. We're gonna do more of these. Because I like to hear a lot of people's voices. Because again,
Roundtable.
I believe we could unify our state again. Because this is our state, and we do have to work on that violence. Because again, if people don't feel safe to go to an event, there ain't gonna be no event. There ain't gonna be nothing. Then really, how we gonna hold down the music that we enjoyed all our years of our life?
Can I tell you a story about just a real quick story about the violence I did? When I did, Fliz might even been. I did a contest to open up for Freeway at Ultra years ago.
I probably was there. At those times, I was at everything.
Yeah.
If there was a live show, I was there back then.
Yeah,
then I had kids.
But this is the thing, and this is why this is so crazy to me. Because at this point, I had already been establishing underground hip hop scene. But for some reason, with that show, with that in that era, I started to attract a lot of different types of people. And I want to say, I'm gonna tread lightly, but it was like a lot of gay people was starting to come, a lot of like white people, younger and older and stuff, was starting to come to the events. And when I did this show, this open for Freeway, and people that was there remember this. Somebody was drunk in the crowd, and somebody said something to one of the guys on stage. Huge brawl to his wife, and his wife was in the crowd. He was beside her. He said something to her, and the guy on stage saw it, came down. Wow, it just turned into a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And what I learned after that, a lot of the people who had started coming was like, "Oh, I don't feel safe with this no more." Because like I said, it was I was getting a different kind of rappers I had never seen. I was living different lifestyles. Let's put it like that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. We getting a different. I tried to get them for more stuff in the future. They was like, I'm not coming to that no more.
I'm good. Yeah.
They were like, I'm good. That's too violent. And this was literally one fight, but they're not used to that, and they don't want to go into nothing like that. So soon as that fight, I mean, the guy, he apologized to me profusely. Things happen. It is what it is. Yep. We used to that, but not everybody's used to that. Mm-hmm. So when you scare them off, they're not coming back ever. So we see things start to elevate, and then they dissipate. Because like, I don't know what happened with Fat, right? But they have issues around Fat. This is not crime here and there, but for the most part, they keep a certain type of scene in there, in my opinion. So, but when it first was announced, it's like this gonna be the thing for all the everything black and hip hop, but it's not that. Am I wrong? Am I tripping? I don't think it's. I think that so it's like so it's not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's for a reason because it's got too much violence associated with doing too much rap down there, right? I think it was too much violence.
Rap brings an element.
It does bring an element, and once we acknowledge that, we can whatever. Because when I first
before we say that rap bring an element, I'm gonna ask this question. We don't rap like that though.
No.
So
different boxes of rap. Yeah.
So would artists like us bring that type of element?
Wait a minute, slow down. So I want to be clear. It ain't that. This is the problem. It ain't that what you rapping about. Anybody can get drunk anywhere. They have fights at every club. That's you true. Go to the rooftop right down in Prague right now. I went to the rooftop. They was dressed nice and they got two or three rooftop down there. But the rooftop G, I believe.
Yeah,
these white boys was throwing hands, dog.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't no rappers in there. These was white boys. These dudes was throwing hands like, yo, I'm gonna kill you. And they was so drunk, they was twisted. It's not about that. But the simple fact of the matter is, when we do it, it look worse.
Yes.
So it's not about.
Told you speak.
It's not about. Oh, it's too many rappers involved. No, you could go anywhere and get the thumping. You just said you went somewhere and they was like, oh, I want to.
Oh,
Jay-Z. He's like, I want to Jay-Z.
Hold on, it wasn't no music or nothing.
No. It wasn't even a rap show. Somebody wanted to punch him just for looking at him. He's a white guy, right?
Yeah.
Keeping a buck.
Oh,
so yeah. So it's like it ain't got nothing to do with what we rapping about, right?
So then we talking.
So when we talking about human nature,
it's judged by a different standard.
We get judged by a different standard.
Yeah, I got
right?
you. Yep.
So like a fight break out at the basketball game, there they go again. But a fight break out at the hockey game, it's just hockey. It's just what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's different. They fighting everywhere, but we get hit harder. So we got to be. They always say we got to be A students when somebody else could be a C student, right? For us to get anything, it got to be. We got to be much better, much more eloquent, much more well spoken. With an average, they can be average at certain stuff. We got to be super elevated at it. So when we're not, when we playing on the same level, then we look bad. So what it is we got as hip hoppers. When you come to that show, you got to understand when your man. I've had incidents at these shows where it's the rappers have to join in something because their man is fighting.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to tell these people when they get to listen. This is something that we don't get a lot, and I know it's hard to do that. But everything downtown is closed down. You ain't putting nothing down there. You ain't putting no nightclubs, nothing. If you're gonna they just opened up a loft down there. It's called a loft or something, which is it's a little more classy and it's a lounge and they got music. But you ain't gonna go up in there like you used to, right? Yep. You ain't even gonna get upstairs because half these things are you know what I'm saying? They different. So what we got to do is figure out how we want to be when we out in these places, right? How we want, are we looking for fighting or whatever? Because like you can go on the hill right now and you smoke a hookah. If you don't like hookah, you ain't what you going up there for. So all the lounges are hookah, they chilling and they hanging out. They still fight up there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they still fight up there. A fight could break out right in South Beach or wherever. That's why they got security. If it wasn't no fight, they wouldn't have security. We wouldn't pay these guys $100 a night to be up there. So end of the day, we gotta feel like we want to be special.
Oh yeah, we
You know what I'm saying?
This party started.
So we gotta figure out
I got walk past you first.
You gotta go that way.
I got
as a unit, what we want to be. But we got CJ here. We ain't getting nothing out of CJ yet.
I mean, you got a little bit of this.
We got to get something out of CJ. I want to know CJ's opinion.
This man, you know what I'm saying, got me like Nick Anderson on the free throw line right now.
This is his first time getting recorded.
All right.
You know, but what's up, man? What you have to ask me? I was gonna, just piggyback what y'all was saying earlier, Fliz. I was you know, they was asking like, is there really a gap as far as generations? You know, I'm a younger cat and everything.
Yep.
You think it's like, how wide would you say that gap is and everything? Like, opposed to just supporting local talent, but somebody like somebody that made it, you know, like you know, say if Blue Cantrell, you know, local artist, you know, say if she came out, say if she came back and, you know, made a comeback and, you know, start performing, nobody probably check her out, but somebody else.
That's sad too.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Blue Cantrell should be able to fill any venue here anytime she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't she doing her thing in Vegas right now though?
She might be.
I believe she's out in Vegas right now doing her thing.
Oh, forgive me.
There's so much to discuss with this.
But no, you know, just on that show scene. You know,
that's people not want to come out. What we were talking about, they don't want to come out if they don't have everything set up for fun or what have you. Make sure that. Oh, damn, I need that plug too.
This one right here, you said?
Oh,
yeah, right here.
No, you good.
No, my battery going low on that computer.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, Merch, you got that? Got it cord?
That's really good.
I took the day off of work. I got all my kids in school right now. I'm good.
Those little pauses are so important.
You don't want to really say nothing else?
Okay. Oh, it's like this morning, my girl is out of town. So all the kids are my responsibility. So to get one kid, I live in Tiverton, one kid to Fort River, then I have to go back to Portsmouth, drop my son. Then come back to Providence, drop my daughter. And I got to do that in reverse later.
To pick them up.
And then come back to Providence.
Oh, no, we still live?
You'll be all right, though. Small things to a giant.
Hold
on. How long is this going to be, real quick?
You could do
just because I should urinate, because I don't want to have to be in the mid-comment. Can I go piss now?
Yeah.
Word.
You need the card.
Yeah.
Oh, word.
That's funny. What I missed?
But I agree. Nah, he just kept going with what he was saying. Ain't gonna lie, like, you know, hey, a lot of that stuff is like dead on his facts.
You know, I was asking about the gap between, you know, the eras and everything, me being a young cat and everything. So,
Right.
So how that gap be?
How do you see like your era? Like, cause I know how I saw mine when we were like, you know, the young cats.
If I'm be, I guess I'll come back. I'm still here. All right. Can't hear me. How do I see my era? Good question. How do I see my era? If I'm being 110% honest, I say we tend to play favorites. We really tend to play favorites. Like I said, I'm a novice. I've only seen one person perform, which was, again, shout out to Tech, Street Legal.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it really is all about favorites. You know, if we really feeling you, like you got somebody you really feeling, like, yeah, you're not rocking with him, I'll go see him. But if somebody else come like, yo, you want to check me out? We'll leave the message on red or whatnot. I ain't messing with that. Mm-hmm. So I really believe it's like, you know, bias and favoritism, to be honest. And I'm not bashing nobody. This is what I see. This is really what I see being around. So that's my answer to that question.
Don't feel bad, because I think our era did that too. Seriously, don't even feel bad.
That's how it is.
Like a lot of people, like, I'll go see my man.
That's still
Fine.
live,
Matter of fact, I don't know if it's still like that. Probably is, but back in the day, like they would like you would get challenged, by someone who's not even a rapper because he's in. Yo, my man's nicer than you. You know, be off the time like, damn, like,
they're taking this fight.
God damn, like, yo, I just asked you to come see my show. I'm not even a battle rapper. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. So that behavior, don't feel bad.
Got you.
That behavior goes back, bro.
Support don't cost too much. It don't cost too much. You know what I'm saying? Like an hour or two of your time. That's about it. And also another thing. Say if you're from another side of town.
That's why I got that.
You know what I'm saying? That you don't rock with people. Yeah, say if you're on another side of town, but you from this side. I don't really mess with that side. I ain't come to check you out. Like I think that plays a factor too. So
I'm glad you said that. That you just said something big because I can now speak on the climate of the streets as far as venues around here. Like when we came up, it was bad, but it is worse now. I don't care what anybody says. The streets are jacked up now because the older generation followed codes. Now it's like you can't go to the show because nobody's following codes. You can be there with your mom. They'll get at your mom, your uncle, your grandpa. You know what I mean? Because the code ain't there to say don't do that. You can be at an all ages show with your child. They will get at you. So I do like honor the fact you younger cats have to go through that in this scene. It's bad when it comes to that. And like
so
guess what?
So Fuzz,
yeah.
Speaking on that note, that's what I mean about unifying Rhode Island, because we can't have people living in fear of wanting to go somewhere because of some kind of event that they had nothing to do with, some event that they don't even know about.
Yep.
So how do we go about that? And after you speak on that, we're going to transition to the early ages of the Rhode Island coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and I could receive a lot of flack for this, but this is honest. You can't... we are freedom of speech. You can be as violent and as thug as you want to on tracks. But guess what? As you grow to be a grown man, there's repercussions, and you have to, own what you do, what you put out there.
Right.
So guess what? I can't put you in my venue. And I'll speak if I had a venue. If I was a rich business owner, and I would support all the hip hop I can, but soon as I feel you're gonna bring a certain element to my establishment, even me being an artist, I don't really want you there. Because I don't want to deal with. And this is just being honest. I don't want to. And I love my Mob Deep from back then. I love my MOPs. I rock them to this day. But I understand as a grown-ass man now, I see the other side. I can't have you destroying my business and bigger than that, the community. You get what I'm saying? Because now, like we just said, people are scared to put you here because here's what your crowd might come with. You know what I mean? And I want to speak to something that happened. I'll just say this briefly. Shout out to Chachi for those Peace Fests.
Yes.
That he used to put on.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And Chachi knows what I'm talking about when there was a little issue when, there's certain people who couldn't get on the Peace Fest.
Yeah.
Chachi, they called it Peace Fest. I can't have you here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And something happened. So shout out to him. So it's like, all right, it's things like that. Like I need rappers who have like integrity here, who ain't going to incite the crowd to want to like fight somebody or something like that.
Right.
So I'm on that zone.
What's up, bro?
Peace.
Yo.
Listen, hold up. Me and Dante we trying to see who's saying your name right.
Go.
The mean?
Yep.
The mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then,
Saran.
How do you say the last one?
I don't even know how to say. I don't even want to try it.
Try it.
Yeah, I don't know why you just
Try
said
it. Try it. Yeah, just try it. Try it. SYRONN.
Siren?
Close.
I said it wrong.
It's Siron.
Siron.
Demean Siron.
That dude just
My
got
God.
that presence, dude.
Yeah,
Demean
yeah.
Siron.
I'm glad you're here because we just bigged up Grim on the locals. Did you hear it on the?
I didn't. I was driving on the
Okay,
way.
yeah.
It's all good. Remember, this is going to get played back. That's why
You're
I ain't
right.
worried about. It's going to
So
play back.
we were discussing what happened, what made the scene for the
Now I want to go a different way with him.
right, but I'm just telling him we catch up.
Mm-hmm.
The scene, what happened where it became people hard. It makes it hard for artists to be seen and heard here, as far as out in the world. Like we can put all we want, click and drag online.
You
all
mean
day.
the scene as far as Rhode Island?
You can say Rhode Island,
it's a
Southeast
big-
Rhode Island, New
Mass,
Bedford,
New
Mass,
England
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
What made it?
What made it like? Because like
I'll
if
try-
like with the locals only,
Yeah.
that was needed.
What, the radio or the venue?
The venue
Okay.
itself.
Yep.
The locals only was needed because it was hardly anything for anybody, established or not, to be seen and heard.
Wow. So there's so many ways to answer this question. I think.
Speak.
You old enough to remember when they started ending hip hop shows in Boston at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah, but it was a reason.
Right.
It was a reason.
No, the reason y'all was just discussing it.
It was a reason.
Things would get out of hand.
In Boston,
After
Boston
9
had never
o'clock for a
leveled.
while.
Yeah.
So I think the culture has a stigma, obviously. What happened here, I'll tell you what I think one of the primary caverns is in the scene. The radio station, the major radio station in Rhode Island doesn't support any of its artists.
That's the angle.
That's a huge problem.
That's why I bought them in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we only really have one station in this whole region.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 10 years ago, SoundScan for this region was counted in the Cape.
Wow. That's very
Crazy.
That's very crazy.
So radio is not that big in this region, particularly major radio and how they support local artists.
Mm-hmm.
You also know if you go down south, you go to Atlanta, you go to Florida, they playing people that live in that town.
Right.
Legit, they're playing their songs
I
on the
used to love
radio.
riding through New York because you would hear New York.
Right.
You don't hear that no more.
That was, I don't know, back in the day that was like that. I
Back
don't
in
know
the
if it's like that anymore.
It's definitely not
I
like
haven't
that
driven
now.
through
Now,
New York,
Philly
but
used to have
Jersey.
a scene like that too. They used to have a whole bunch of things.
but
But
go
speak on.
The point is this, that's the first thing. The second thing I'll say is this region has never infrastructurally supported music culture.
Correct.
At least not since I've been
To a
here.
degree, yeah, I agree.
And that's huge. And you wouldn't know what infrastructure is for music culture until you go to a music city.
Right.
I challenge
Nashville.
exactly. I challenge every listener to go. Once you go to Nashville, you realize, oh wow, this is what's wrong, right? They have live music
Right.
at their bars. That's part of Friday night. That's part of That is the entertainment. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
So there's no people here don't really support music culture. That's what happened.
That's true.
They like to drink. They like girls.
You just said that.
They
They
like
ain't
the
coming out.
idea of being social. The music
balling out,
is
right?
the music is, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th tier on that list.
Yeah.
Any song could come on as long as there's males and females engaging and there's alcohol and some sort of intoxicant. Then the culture here is that.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's all facts.
Reason why he's here. What was your take on when I said does Rhode Island have unity? Cause you was one of the people that I was looking at comment in that post. That's why I was to say me and him need to sit down.
I think that's a very broad question. Does Rhode Island have unity? The easy answer is no, right? I'll tell you how I know Rhode Island doesn't have unity. It's obvious we don't have unity. We don't play each other's music.
Yep.
We don't, you know what I mean? There's rappers that I never heard of. There's still rappers out there that never heard of me, that never heard of you, that never heard of you, that never heard of you, right? These names pop up all the time. Like, yo, who is this dude? Like, I never. So clearly, it goes back to the infrastructure. There's no place where our culture is comfortable sort of intermingling outside of in the summertime when, you know, Providence lights up with the PVD Fest and we can all walk around.
Yep.
Outside of that, what else is there? No, the fire water things. What? No. What else is there? Where you even gonna see people that identify with this culture intermingling. You don't. So unity. The short answer is no. But I think what you really want to know is why. Or I think that there's a broader question. I think we were talking about something else.
We was talking about. We touched on it, but I wanted you to speak on it because you brought
Which
up
is what?
that. Remember when we was talking about like, is it the talent that like when people come to these shows and they see like
We were talking about. Oh, okay. Let me go back to your question. So you want to know what happened? This is where it is, right? Let's go back to that original question, Charles.
Yeah.
I think the product has been
what's the word I'm looking at?
Watered down.
The quality of the product has been diminished.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the scene. I think in the time we were coming up, there was an expectation for you to go to a hip hop show and be relatively entertained, right?
Yep.
And
Understand?
I think over the years,
But we got somebody coming that's
the expectation of being relatively entertained, I don't think there is one. I think people go to get a drink. It goes back to the same thing. They go to get a drink, see if there's girls there,
Yeah.
maybe be pleasantly surprised by an artist.
Yep.
But they don't expect to go and get a good show.
No.
I don't think, and I don't even do that no more. At some point, you stop doing it too. I don't want to throw you under the bus, Charles.
Run them
You know
over.
what I mean? But you OG, that's why I'm talking, because we've seen the amalgamations of this culture.
Right.
You too. You've been around long enough too.
Yeah,
We've
yep,
seen
yep.
all the amalgamations of this.
Yep.
You know, I don't go back to the lab days. You know what I mean? I don't know Providence. I don't know that period of Providence, the 80s, the crack era. I don't know that
I wasn't
era,
here,
right?
so yeah.
I only know, let's say, 99, 2000 after.
Okay.
Let me say that,
Yeah.
by the way. But I think over time, the product has been watered down or diminished.
I think the culture as a whole.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think that's everywhere.
That's fair.
Yeah, as a whole.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Because the culture.
But what led to that?
Well,
This is what we were talking.
we've been destroyed from the
But
top.
hold on, I want to because he brought up something very interesting that I want to get on
So
wax.
I think to get to his point, what he's trying to get me to say is that, quote unquote, back in the day, to get an opportunity to perform,
Criterias that they
you
had.
had to meet a certain number of criteria to even get a look, right?
Right.
And again, this is gonna sound really archaic to a lot of these young people, which is fine, but you had to have a press kit, right? A black and white glossy.
He just brought that up.
bio.
Yeah, he brought it up. That's what I forgot.
Right, this is
Cause we
why.
never, me and Fliz
You
never
had to
did
have
a
all of
press
that, and then more importantly, your reputation had to supersede itself. So you're the promoter. I'm coming to you. This is just ancillary. This is just something that you need to have to make sure that we're on the up and up. But you already know what we do because word of mouth.
Right.
You heard about dudes. Who reminded me the other day? Vlad reminded me the other day. He was like, yo, the first time I saw you, you guys were opening up at the Heartbreak Hotel, opening up for Big Pun. I don't even remember that show. Right? But
You know how long ago that had to be?
Huh?
You know how long ago that
That
happened?
was a
When year
long
Pun
time
died?
ago, bro.
Like, was it
That
99?
was a long time ago. I'm ancient, bro.
Late 90s.
So, but you go back before 99 then? Because you said I'm 99.
Yeah, I guess.
So you before that.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I am before.
Yeah, you talking.
What I'm saying is, though,
Yeah, 97.
This is about that period where I was just
Right.
starting to get to know Providence.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I
Got it.
started rapping way before that.
All right.
But my introduction to Providence and us coming out here was stuff like that, getting those opportunities. But because we built a reputation in New Bedford, when we came here, the gates was open.
Right.
It's like, oh, we heard you guys get busy. Here's the opportunity. Here's the opportunity. Here's the opportunity. And you closing those opportunities.
Vlad,
He's trying to patch in right now.
Oh,
like,
what's
he
really
said
good?
You go through Facebook, so he called me.
Vlad,
The
no,
only
we're
reason- so I
gonna
get-
have a part 2. I told you we're gonna have a part 2. I know. You're gonna come in. Donnie's gonna come in.
Yeah.
It's not just MCs. I got Remy Jones coming in. It's not just MCs.
this the
It's
first.
gonna be a part 2. I'm
Word.
telling you this. We just getting
And
started.
hold on. The only reason I can't patch you in, because I'm using the computer. I'm not using the Facebook. I'm using the computer. It's going through everything else. So it's on YouTube, everything right now. So I can't patch
I'm
in.
gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. I told you. Tell me your day off. I'm gonna work around that.
Right, that's cool. But you know what? Hey, Charles, when I saw the number 3rd, I said, oh, he's about to do OBS or something. So,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
All right, Merk, call me, dude. I need
You heard Merk? He said, all right.
Listen, I got you. I got everybody that's watching, everybody that's gonna be listening to this. This is not just one thing. This is the network.
This is a continuing conversation.
We're gonna have this. It started with I wanted my man here because he seen the vision of what I was trying to do. Fliz is my brother. He got the cheat code. He gonna always be here and be a part of the network. CJ is part of the network. You're gonna Sandy's part of the network. Charles, he got other people. This is the network. We're doing this. I'm trying to unify Rhode Island again.
Word is born.
And something that you said, I'm gonna tell you something that you said that blows my mind. We don't support each other's music, and I'm gonna give you a clear-cut evidence, proof. 1996,
Yeah.
an album came out
Yeah.
called Revolutionary Minds.
Yeah.
Who was on that album?
Fliz. Sean Jackson.
Bootleg.
Swan.
Busted Fro,
Busted Fro.
Ricky Culture,
Ricky Culture
Yeah.
and Victory God.
Len Ace.
Len Ace on productions and
The
you?
point,
that's
the-
all I know.
the-
And then it was you.
the
That's the
point
point that
was-
he's trying to make. Is
I
he
didn't even
was
know
on-
you was on the
He
album.
didn't know I was on the record, and I didn't know he was on the record.
You was Isotope
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
He didn't know I was on the
I
record.
was like, what?
I didn't know you was on the record.
I'm sitting up there when he told me, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
This-
heavy.
are you serious? That's gonna show you how far we. Who else other than D Smooth? Cause D Smooth had vinyl. Him, Buck. You remember that? Hold up, I gotta take this.
All right.
Y'all go ahead.
Just
It's your floor, though.
Yeah, just to finish my thought. So that's how it used to be, and I'm not saying that things should be the same. You know, things change, but there was a criteria for being able to have access to certain stage. Everybody wasn't going to be
Yeah,
able to get on
Yeah.
on the stage.
Who got the card?
It's right here. You get the card. Everybody wasn't going to be able to get on the stage. And even my group, Busted Fro, it took us a while to get to that point. So
Right.
I think an important part of this lesson is that people listening is like, oh, well, what do you do then? Yo, we had to rock house parties. We had to rent our own venue, rent our own sound system, print our own flyers.
Yep.
And get 50, 60 people to come, make a little bit of money, turn that money over into another piece of equipment maybe, or another promotional material, piece of promotional material. We had to create opportunities for ourselves because there really wasn't any. That's the other thing. There wasn't any. So you're talking about now how there's not so many opportunities. I say to any young artist, create them for yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Create them for yourself. Create your own buzz. I think a great example of that is Joe Bruce.
Okay.
I think dude executed his rollout perfectly. Almost without flaw.
Shout out to the water bearer.
Created his own and went hard with it. Right? To a point where he was able to generate revenue. Out of
That's
nothing.
what we need, yeah.
Out of nothing. Just one day I'm here. Yo, this is what I'm gonna do. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me.
That's dope.
Beautiful, right? That's the thing other young artists need to do. I can't
And older artists.
and older artists. I can't attest to his resources, but again, even when you have no resources, there's ways for you to generate a buzz for yourself. Kids are nowadays doing it online anyway, right? They just rap in front of the computer, or they go on SoundCloud and put their songs. But going back,
And that's where I
To-
think
going
the
back-
community went.
Yeah.
I think the community is cyber now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but going back to the product
Yep.
of hip hop in Rhode Island, I think it's important that we revisit quality standards. That's the best way I could say
I
it.
agree.
If we want to reinvigorate this culture, it's going to require some level of you know, there's got to be a level of quality standard to be able to access certain points. Because this is the thing too. Remember when we were young and you scrap, and then you get that opportunity to be on this stage?
Right.
You
You
work
get
for
something.
it.
Yeah.
It means something. You rehearse 10 times with your group.
Yep.
Right.
Because it's like, yo, this is a big moment for us. These kids don't know that no more. They come up with $400 and it's strength.
Yeah.
Yo,
true.
they come up with $500 and it's I'm here.
And you're opening for
I'm on
something
this
huge.
stage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's that easy, but yeah.
It's pretty close to that, Charles.
I don't know if it's that easy, but yeah. So
It's pretty close.
if we're going to be fair, right? I don't want to say just everything these young artists.
Right. Okay. Fair.
A lot of old people up there too.
Yep.
There's a lot of old
100%.
people doing cheat codes.
100%.
So it ain't just
100%.
all the young artists are trash. Like, you know, so it's not that.
I didn't say anybody's trash
Oh,
yet,
no,
by the
no,
way.
no.
Right.
I was
love
just more
young artists,
reflecting
too.
on the
Yeah.
quality of the live entertainment product. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I think I gotta be honest with my whole existence is bucking the system.
Okay.
I literally bucked the gatekeepers. I hated that gatekeeper mentality.
Okay.
I hated that you was told you could not get on because this person didn't like you. Or this person didn't think your music was worthy.
Okay.
I can name probably, if I took my time, 50 people who went on to be amazing, who got on my stage and was terrible. Right? So it's like, my stages wasn't meant for
all right.
you to be fully, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It wasn't that. So
right. You were providing opportunities for...
Yeah. It's people now, flawless or mad people that was coming up and they got the opportunity to get on the stage because of... So I don't want to return.
I think our first show was with you.
I appreciate it. So so I don't want to return to.
Watch the wire.
It's a quarter.
Everyone, this is Remy Jones.
Wow.
Wow.
The next Rhode Island Oprah.
I know she don't want you saying that.
Wow, Remy Jones.
Listen.
That's what's up.
Everyone that's in this room
It's here for a reason.
they here for a reason.
I'm Charles.
Demean.
Fliz.
Nice to meet you.
Yep.
CJ.
Put it this way.
And Merk is the engineer. He's just his studio.
Put it this way.
Hey.
If it wasn't for this man, this wouldn't be happening right now. Because we made this happen. But him keeping my voice alive, I was just like, you know what? I'm taking this to the next level. If I'm coming back outside, I'm coming outside, kicking doors open and everything. I'm just saying, yo, we're going to do this right.
So let's
we're going
get
to do this
it open.
professional.
Remy's here. What you want to talk to her about?
Somebody saying, people saying the volume too low. Comments.
Yeah.
Okay, I think when it got kicked out, I think it went down. Let me work on it.
Let me put my
She
phone
gonna get
on silent.
she gonna get the closing moments because whatever y'all was talking about wasn't here.
I
Who
would
controls
love for
the
you to
volume?
finish.
You or him?
I would
I
love
am.
for you to
I am.
finish your thought.
I am. Let me just make sure.
And at the Merc.
Yeah.
I thought I put the phone. I didn't hear.
I didn't even want to speak. I didn't care. I'm like, that's why I'm recording it. So how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. You know what? You know why? I told you I like to celebrate you. Your great accomplishments. You're married. Matter of fact, I might wanna, cause somebody asked a question on this is CJ. He's on a podcast called Don't Be Emotional, and then it's me and him. We on the Clash, us three, and someone said, "How do you manage your business as well as your family?" Oh, I need to get on a mic.
I mean, it'd be better.
I thought I do know reason.
Just
Slow down.
Just repeat that question.
So, how do you manage that? What? That's something I want you to think about. I don't know what point they was on while I was going to get you, but he said he would love for him to finish his point. That's why I was just speaking on that. So when you speaking, think about that because somebody really wanted the answer to that question. They put it in the comment section, and I was like, well, I can't answer it. We all going to talk about it. Do you know everybody here?
No.
Okay.
But it's an honor to meet you.
No.
Appreciate it.
Remy TV.
This is Charles. He is
You was talking
the owner of the network we are on.
Oh,
We are
that's
the
okay.
podcast network. This is Murphy's the engineer of Premier Engineer. He does our music. A lot of people music. When people come from out of town,
Right.
he does their music. This man right here, he's somebody I look up to when it comes to performance. He got a group called Dirty Dirty. And I just I remember when I seen him on the Pride Fest for the first time, and it's crazy. We were just talking about how we was on an album together, and that was in 1996, and we just found this out this year.
That's dope.
This is my brother. Me and him been together since we was 16. Not my, but he's my brother. I don't care what anybody say. I carried his mom. That's how close we are. He's the reason why I'm back outside because I was happy chilling. I was hibernating my little beer life. Like I was like, I don't care about music. I don't care about the scene anymore because it's like it's frustrating when you know all the energy and money, everything you put into it, and you don't feel like you're getting a return back.
Right. I know how you feel.
And then this is my younger brother who I'm bringing along. This is his first time actually on facial, and this is his first time actually doing anything media. So he's getting a great experience.
Okay.
My feet wet.
Yeah.
So why is it
It is
low?
real low. It's real low. It is real low.
But again, like I told the people, this is being recorded professionally, so it's gonna be played back. Everything's gonna be played back. Again, thank you for your support. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. But while he's doing that, he can get to his point. Introduce yourself. Tell people what you do, what you're trying to establish.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Okay, so my name is Remy Jones. I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island on the West End. Right now, I have my own television show called Remy TV. I interview celebrities, local talent, community leaders, culture shifters. I originally started my show because I was working for another television show in New York City. And I just realized, I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do something to help my community and to highlight the black business owners, the local artists, if I'm working for a New York television show? And on top of that, I didn't want to work under someone else. Because I was like, hell no, I'm not really getting paid enough. I was bringing them celebrity talent. I was getting paid like $30 per, like, people that I was, I don't know. So I started my own show. It's located here, and it also airs on TV9 in Seacock, Massachusetts. It also airs on the Dame Dash Studios television network, and right now I'm working on putting my show on Tubi. So that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, I have a question. This is your time. Go ahead. The floor is yours. So you got everything set?
Go ahead.
No, it's your, dude. I told y'all, I'm out of this. I just wanted the people here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Charles. Get your seat back.
Is there a volume thing on this? Maybe you can make it more sensitive.
What Charles was suggesting before he got interrupted was that his whole idea was to provide opportunities for artists. What he was saying was he hated the whole gatekeeping system.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah, I know you do too.
I hate it too.
Hate it is a strong word.
She said she hated it too, so it exists. Let's address it.
I go through it.
I think in some spaces it has value. That's all I'm trying to say. I think it has value in the sense that it helps to, in the case of artists, it helps to push them to be better. Especially if there's a criteria that's required that you meet before you have a conversation with said gatekeeper. Right? It's like, yo, don't come to me unless this, and this is straight. When that's straight, come to me and we'll talk.
Yep.
I'll look at I'll listen to your tape, I'll watch your performance, and then we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. But at that point, that doesn't happen anymore. Like, people don't have to audition for shows anymore. Mm-hmm. You ever had to audition for a show?
Well, in our case, because me and Fliz was having this conversation, we just had it today. I was just say, yo, Fliz, what was our first show? Because we was signed to a production deal when we was 17? He keeps saying 18.
I was 18. I know I was 18.
I know I was 17 because I. Nah, we
was 18 because we had to legally sign it. We had to be.
Do everything. You know what? You're right. We was 18.
We was 18
because the girl I was with. You're right.
It's the second time y'all.
I know you was.
That's what I'm like.
He's right. No, he's right.
I said I was 18.
No. He's right. He's right. No, because that's right. That's right. He was 18. But we was signed to a production deal, so we had a dude who actually got us. Our first show was at the Oktoberfest in Pawtucket. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it was the whole Pawtucket and everything was out there, plus the people we invited. But we were so into performing that, well, not perform, we were just on fire. They had a karaoke on another stage.
Before the main show.
Before the main stage, they had a karaoke, and we went on there to Killing Me Softly. Mm-hmm. And the whole, arm to arm. It was like, that's how many people, it was a flood of people there. Matter of fact, you know who else was in the crowd? Eighth Wonder. Eighth Wonder was in the crowd. Remember he told you the story about when he seen us on stage?
No, I don't remember it.
I know you're not a bad memory.
Yeah, I'm bad like that.
But so the answer is no, you didn't audition.
No.
So but wait. So we were talking about gatekeepers.
Yeah,
so I would I wouldn't be in this space if I listened to gatekeepers, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like gatekeepers have everybody's best interest in mind. And I understand you're talking about having a standard, a level of protection of the system. someone
The
keeping
protecting the quality of the product.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Yes.
This is business, right? We want to talk about art. That's a whole. I'm trying to address this from what's going to help Rhode Island,
Yeah.
and in particular Providence and hip hop culture. And for
Right.
me, the answer is restoring the quality of the product.
I agree with you.
Right? That's and
100%.
however we do that, I'm all
Right.
for it. But there's
Now,
got to be some
There has
measures.
to be some. We need to describe. We need to figure out what quality is going to entail. Like, we got in every genre that we have here: R&B, rap, reggae, whatever, reggaeton, whatever. It's somebody doing it really well.
Mhm.
Even trap, somebody's doing really good trap music.
I would agree with you.
If we can focus on, because back then it was only a few names you had to name before you said, oh, those are the quality people, right? You had the Chachis, you had the Hoodems, you had Temperamento doing the Spanish stuff, and you had I mean, I could just go on. DJ Buck was a top-notch DJ, and so you had certain names that resonated, Swan Nadi and different people like that, Fed Hill and people like that, right? So as it became in anything,
Can I just?
it's
before
going
I
to be more
interrupt you,
people jumping
and I
in.
think it's important that
Go
I say
ahead.
this. It drives me crazy that people from this state don't give Sage his credit.
Yes,
Mm.
yes,
Because
yes,
he,
yes,
because
yes,
he
yes.
really opened the doors
Yes, he did.
for national attention, Rhode Island. And to be honest, I think he's probably the only rapper out here that bought a house off his.
Not just a house.
You got what I'm saying, though?
Yep.
He's really the
But-
only one out here that ever really ate
We talking about Sage Francis for those that don't know.
off a thing. So it's always for years that's been like, yo, nobody ever mentioned Sage. So
But you know what though?
I'm gonna
He's
take
playing
that
a
moment out.
different.
I
It doesn't
get
matter, but he was a
you
part of
know,
us. He was a part of us,
He was hip hop.
No question. But he
I-
tours constantly, so he's not even here.
Right, he's not here either, but he's still
Right.
He's still
It's Rhode Island.
as far
That's
as
just like even on a
historically,
national level, Tech Nine makes more money than 90% of the rappers
It's
in the
true.
business.
Tech Nine is great.
And no,
And-
you
and-
can
and
walk down
a
the street
great
and they would
business
say, "Who is that?" I don't know
Yeah,
who he is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's a level. It's a certain. It's certain wave levels that people operate at.
Go back to your point, though. I
Yeah,
did
no, I
want to
get it.
illustrate that.
And
'Cause
it's
you
certain
were
people-
running down names. And
There's certain people that operate on a level. Certain people, like he said, she's the Rhode Island Oprah.
Mm.
Oprah's a name. That's a huge name.
Mm.
She probably has somebody in mind that's not necessarily Oprah, but she's thinking, I want to. That's
Aspires.
more my
Right.
what I'm aspiring to. She probably not even trying to be Oprah. Right?
I
I
wouldn't
don't,
say
are
So
you
that's
trying to
what
be
that's
Oprah?
what people call her. They call her
Right, so-
outside of Rhode Island. They call
You
her.
know that always happens when when people compare you to other people.
Right.
That's a normal thing for
They
people
go-
to
they
do.
jump to the
That's fine.
highest.
Yeah, they jump to the highest,
Right.
whatever. But it's a compliment because that just goes to show you that I'm putting in
Right.
the work.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's
You
real.
know
Yep.
That's what's up.
I also want to, jump in as far as gatekeeping is
Mhm.
concerned, right? There's different types of gatekeeping. There's gatekeeping where it's like, well, we want to see you, do the work as far as where's your EPK, where's this, you don't even have a press release out or whatever the case is.
Right.
Like how you said, come to me with this first and then we'll talk. But then there's the gatekeepers that are haters that's just
Right.
like, nah, I don't want
Nah.
to see you doing better than
It's
me
two
or
different
getting
kinds.
close to the level.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
They both
it-
exist.
Exactly, and they both exist. So when I was coming up, there was people that said to me, "You're not ready to interview so and so," and I wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, but I was confident, but my interviewing skills were trash when I first started.
Okay.
And then there's people that's like, "Oh yeah, now she has a credentials, but yeah, I'm not trying to see her next to me though."
Right.
I
Right.
have people that still
It's
do that to me.
self-preservation.
Right.
Yeah. So that happens. That's the thin line of it too. So, like I feel like we was when I came in. So I'm just like I feel like whether I'm qualified or not, I want a shot. You know what I'm saying? So I will let the people decide if I'm qualified, because the stuff that comes out right now is people that blow up. SoundCloud itself blew up on undermixed, bad, poorly made stuff that was too loud. And these kids gravitated to that. Lil Uzi Vert, XXXTentacion. I can name probably 10 of these guys that blew up off of poorly mixed stuff they did in their basement, right? But the people didn't care how good it sounded.
Yeah.
Mixed. They just loved the song. I got my dick in my pants. They just jump into like, so it's like they just went nuts. These guys became heroes. And XXXTentacion, he wasn't vetted by anybody. Turns out that he had a whole bunch of legal troubles. Let's put it like that. But kids didn't care. They just wanted the music.
So
He didn't make his music in the studio. He made it wherever, and he blew up outside of the normal gatekeepers. I'm gonna just tell you a quick story, and then you can go. I was in a convention down in Connecticut. It's a guy, I can't remember his name. He used to work with Jay-Z and them. When Watch the Throne came out, I was talking to him at this convention because I was down in the thing waiting to go up, and he was like, "I hate Watch the Throne as a sonically mixed album." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I work with them guys, and I know I could have mixed and tweaked all of that better. Everything would have been better if I was there." But I'm like, the world don't care about none of that.
Right.
Like we niggas in Paris, we just turned up. But he's listening from a quality from what he has learned in his mind. So if we got these gatekeepers saying this and that is what it's supposed to be, they're blocking growth.
That's right.
Sometimes the gatekeepers are old, they fat, old, whatever, and they just like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? They looking at it one way. So we need other people to come and break that mold sometimes. And so and whether it's quality or not, the people gonna tell you, right? So the people gonna be like, oh, her interview was trash, right? Or her interview was dope. But the people might find your work, you might be quirky, and they might like that, or they may like that. She don't seem to be like all the other professional. Because even be on a newscast right here, you gotta look a certain way, you gotta stand a certain way, you gotta talk a certain way, you gotta enunciate a certain way. It's all this. They all do the same thing. Someone comes along and they start doing it in a new way. People gonna love it.
That's true.
You're gonna blow up on Instagram or whatever, but the news people gonna be looking at you like, I think we're gonna fire her, because they're keeping the gate a certain way, and it's all about things advance at some point.
Yeah,
So,
some people want to keep things traditional.
Every art form is gonna evolve. Like,
Yeah.
and the last generation always gonna hold on to something.
Exactly.
So
But what about the people that? So I have a few people that are not experienced in certain areas, like at all. They're up and coming, and they're like, "Well, plug me in with Wyclef."
No.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, pay your dues.
yeah, and I'm
Pay
like,
your
you
dues.
gotta put in the work.
Put the work in.
There's certain levels that you have to do in order to be, able to get to the next level. Like, you can't go in there prematurely, because if you go in there prematurely, you're gonna mess up.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to work the camera, and
Right.
you're like, well, I want to shoot Wyclef, and next you know, there's no audio on it because you
Right.
messed up.
Right.
So you have to go through the levels until you're able to get there. Like,
That's a fact.
it's the same thing with me. I can't jump from local artists when I first start, then all of a sudden I'm interviewing Tyler Perry.
Right.
That's not gonna work, because I'm gonna be probably stuttering, probably scared or whatever. You gotta work your way up. You can't just tell somebody to plug you in or put you on. You're not ready.
That's facts.
So I'm solution oriented individual, and my thing is, then what's the happy medium, right? Because again, you're a smart man, Charles, right? If you owned a business, you would not hire every person that comes in with an application
not.
just to
Of course
give them a shot. And
not.
if you did that, what would happen to your business?
Fair.
What's happening to the entertainment business in Rhode Island?
Well, it's morphing into so the only people that care about the entertainment business are the entertainers. The venues have morphed into other things. Tommy's Lounge, where we used to do shows, they only do karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do rap. He told me a long time ago, he's like, I don't want no more rap here.
So we get back to infrastructure. There is none.
So there is none. That's where we at. So it's not on the business owners to structure it for artists.
I understand that.
So we can't ask somebody running a business
I'm
to
just,
make it
I'm
for.
just, I'm just saying metaphorically. If
Right.
the entertainment industry was, if we looked at it in the state of Rhode Island,
Who's in the entertainment business?
as a business, as itself, as its own entity, then I think we
It's
could all look
failing.
at it and
It's
say
failing.
it's failing.
It's never
That's what I'm
really
saying.
worked anyway. So
So you don't think it's ever thrived?
it thrived for some. That's
to
what I'm saying.
a degree.
To a degree. But
Because like, let's be honest, like something wouldn't go away if it was profitable, for the
Right.
business.
So again, there's
So-
really never been a culture for it or really infrastructure. It was just
Maybe
hotter.
maybe a lot of
There was
tolerance.
a point in time where it was a little bit, because I remember you used to be able to come here, go to the green room. It would be a dope night.
Yeah.
Go to the living room. Something was popping off over there.
But you know what? The
Pop over
climate
the hot-
itself, the culture itself was different.
Right.
Yeah.
People would watch you go in front of a live band and perform back then. Even rappers. We could go somewhere with a live band. A live band let you come up and rap.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So all of that changed. When people started doing things more electronically, they doing stuff in their own house. They started recording, lower
I get
budget.
it.
Like
I
so, the
get it.
whole culture itself changed, and the industry itself became more money orientated.
Like
We
going
were
to what you
already
said.
making beats at that time, though. We were already making beats with keyboards and things. But you're right, the culture did change. I'm not gonna say it didn't change. That's obvious. But I still err on the side of the product was better, so it drew people. I think entertainment is
I agree.
entertainment. Nobody wants to go out and have a sucky night.
That's true.
As an adult, you
Yeah.
sit now you sitting here at 10 o'clock, 10:30, like, yo, I could have been on my couch.
That's true.
I could have been on my
It was a
couch.
lot of, and I understand what you're getting at. It was a lot of that, especially with my events. They turned into that, which is why I don't even really do it no more.
Right.
It turned into act after act after
Oh, I
act
know
after
where
act.
we
It's
go.
trash, but I'm ready to blow your mind right now
Mhm.
because you could turn on the source. I mean, you could turn on BET Awards, and it's trash after trash. So we're not talking about just my stuff. We're talking about nationally.
The product
The
is diluted.
product.
Yes.
I sat through the BET Awards one night, and I was like, this is horrible. And it wasn't like some old man, I don't
Yeah,
like the music. It was just like
bad
the
entertainment.
performances were lazy, the production was bad.
Right.
They didn't put no thought. They was throwing people. It was like they were rushing, running out of time.
Right.
It was like this
Poorly
looks
organized.
this terrible. So it's like this. I said myself. I said this looked like one of my rap shows on its worst nights. Like when I got 7 new acts up there that never performed before, but they got a little buzz, so they jumping on. They have drunk. They did. I'm looking at these award shows. They're all trash right now. They're trying to bring it back to how can we get people to even watch them. People don't even want to watch the Grammys right now.
Right. Well, again, like you said, times change. People watch their phones.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's like,
Watch little 30-second videos.
and you can't even go to it without taking 40 pictures while you're there.
Right,
It's not-
it's
so
all
you're not even paying
time
attention to the
change.
show.
It
So-
also goes where everything's flooded, because as the production, everything gets easier
Yeah.
to do in your business. Everybody's doing it.
Oversaturation.
So now, yes, the
And
oversaturation
that's why
is
the
crazy.
labels are struggling,
I mean,
because people don't even need to go to them no more, because they can just put it out right now on their own.
Well, let's bring it back though, back to Rhode Island, because that's why
Right.
we're here, right?
Right,
This is
right.
this is your primary objective is to bridge the gap,
Yes, repair. Good word.
bridge the gap
For the last
between
hour.
the
I hope y'all still with us.
the hip hop
We on YouTube right now.
culture in Rhode Island, right? That's
How
what I think.
now the question gonna be, the conversation gonna be because this is the future. I was trying to get Dreamville Chach here because he's the future.
Mhm.
Forget about what was.
Mhm.
Today. I played my part to make it better.
Okay.
I got everybody in this room to have a discussion, to start the discussion on how do we make it better. Forget about yesterday. How we make it today and beyond. Because she has an event coming up. That I would
What's the
love.
event?
I'm having a self-care expo.
Okay. I would love something like that. What describe it a little bit more.
She gonna talk about that. The last hour, basically for her. You have an event coming up. We're on it. So we're gonna be the
superheroes thing.
we're gonna be the face
Super friends.
of that event.
Mm-hmm.
I need Dirty Dirt on the second one.
Say less.
I'm playing my part. Whatever happened from this moment on, I don't care. Like I said, when Lad did the list, I look at it as a celebration. When I did my topic, and it wasn't for that list, I wouldn't even did my topic. Me and him wouldn't even have the conversation. That's what started all. I was just like, yo, it's a conversation. Let's get it started. That's what I wanted to do. So for the last hour, everybody get your final says or what you want to say. But on the last hour, I would love for her to have the floor because she didn't even know me. She's taking a chance with me to say who is this guy? I just popped up on her I was like, yo.
She's probably like, where am I walking to? What is oh, I should have came. This is a bad idea. She started hitting the corners in this place. Like,
I'm like, again, I'm getting out of here. The floor is y'all. I just wanted to let what we doing, but
The question I put on the table is, what do we think is a happy medium? Right? I think that's the answer, because I think I agree with you. Like there's really bad gatekeepers. There's haters. There's people that are not letting you through the gate because they want all the bread.
right.
They want all the cheese. They want all the attention. They
You
want
gotta
all the
kick open the
credit.
back door.
Yeah.
I don't play. If you are trying to block my shit, I'm going
get
in
him.
the back
Get
door.
him.
My entire career, per se, if you want to call it that, with this scene was getting blocked at every single level. I don't talk about it a lot, but I got so many blocks,
That's why he's here.
and it's so like it's I've never
See, vantage point.
so I got so many blocks. It just without even being too insightful. I'm just gonna say I've gotten blocked just for sheer fear of me becoming too big here
Yeah, that's.
by higher people.
You ever heard the saying familiarity breeds contempt?
Mm-hmm.
So what you should have did was move to another city and just did
Well, I mean, I did
and
stuff in
glow.
other cities. Yeah,
And glow.
but that's why I'm here because I'm from DC.
Right, I feel you.
So, but I'm here. So
Oh, so you saying you got hate here
No.
being from another spot?
no, I got hate. Yeah, I got hate here. I could write a book on how much I had to endure as far as blocks in my. I was doing shows in my first shows was in Warwick
Yeah.
at. What's
Shout out
that place?
Nas.
Yeah,
The old Shana Nas,
the
it
old
was
Shana Nas. What was it
Octane.
called? Yeah. I remember
Now,
doing
why do
that.
you think I had to go all the way to Warwick and turn a Tuesday night into the poppin'est night in the city because they wouldn't let me do it nowhere else? So the simple fact is, I was like, I had to find a small venue that wasn't even doing shows.
Talk.
Hook up mics,
but-
hit up everybody,
but-
whatever, and turned it into something. And then all the rappers start going down there and be like, yo, it's
But
stuff down there.
again, but this is a mentality, right? To your credit, and dirty, right?
Mhm.
People hear that, and this is not I think it's actually weird, right? People approach us and say the L word. That's weird to me.
What do you mean?
The L word. I don't even like to say it. You
which
one of
one?
them. You
Love?
know, nah.
Oh, legend.
Local?
Yeah,
Legend
that
or
one.
local?
I don't
Oh,
even
legend.
say that word.
Alright.
Like this kid
I got
is,
you.
right?
Yep.
We went to Rhyme Culture, Dirty, at the Oregon. Now, this is after me having rapped already for 20 years, bro. We went to every Wednesday night open mic to do 2 songs for 6-7 weeks straight before finally Andy was like, oh, you guys is pretty nice.
Okay.
And then gave us everything that we built. Started with you giving us a shot on your stage and your scene hunter. Everything we built. And I had already been rapping for 20 years. I had already made a name for myself in Rhode Island, New Bedford, performed in Cape Verde. But I started brand new when I came here because it's a mentality that you have
But you
to
just
have.
named 2 people who bucked the system, who was not in. Neither one of us are plugged in.
Fair.
Andy plugged himself in.
Fair.
And Andy was after me, and I
I guess
plugged
that's
myself
the
in.
whole thing. You got to plug yourself in.
You gotta plug yourself in.
That's it, and go.
But you gotta be good
It's
at what you
easier
do
said
too.
than done.
Then
And
become the
I
plug.
want to say you just got to take yourself serious. We're talking about talent. Sometimes I don't care about a dude's content. I don't care about what you're saying. Do you take yourself seriously?
Right.
Do you take your art seriously?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Are
That's
you
what
showing up
matters.
to make an impression? There's other spaces that I walk into, and I feel like I'm looking at other artists, and none of them are real serious in here.
No, they be working somewhere else in like 2 months.
And this is why I have a great deal of regard for him, and he has a great deal of regard for me. And some of us are smart enough to know who's been around all these years. I know who's serious around here. You know how many artists I've shaken hands with? Seen them for about 3 months on a little circuit, and then never seen them again.
I mean, that's part for the
So
course.
my thing is, why are we wasting our stage space on those people that we never gonna see again?
Well, to answer that honestly, when we talk about business, you gotta get people in the building. Now, me and Andy, who you named, we both can attest to shows where
Yeah, I get
we
it.
thought it was gonna be a great night, and it wasn't.
Yep.
Like I bought Planet Asia here all the way from
I saw
West
it.
Coast.
I was there.
You was at that show,
I was there.
and
I was there.
we had to
I
come out
saw-
of our pocket to pay.
I
play
saw
Planet
Sean
Asia.
P with 15 people.
Who? Shit, Lowell
I saw Sean P.
brought French Montana
I saw
and
Sean
Tommy's,
That's right.
and it was
15
5 people in there. So,
I saw Talib Kweli at the Met. There was like 20.
and Talib is big money. Like, you gotta pay him large dough.
20 people was there.
Yeah, he wants large dough.
So there's a problem.
And that's what we talked about earlier, Dante.
Go ahead.
The people don't want to come out here.
Why?
That's what we trying to
Yeah,
figure
you gotta
out.
see-
We trying to figure out.
And I guess my argument is because when you go out, it's not that much fun because you see a bunch of scraps and then there might be somebody that entertains you for 20 minutes. And for me, I don't even care about the cover charge. It's the time, bro. And I think people value
I think it's
their
deeper than
time.
that. I think all of that is true, but I don't think so. Like you're alluding to how a lot of artists ain't good before you get to that artist, right? You're alluding to a lot, but I think it's deeper than that. I think,
or there'll be two good art. Like I can go into a space, and this is the other thing. Not to cut you off, but me and Graham, this is the other thing I'll say. You know, the one reason why people can't bring this to us is because for years we show up. Me and Graham used to show up just because we were trying to put on events, and we get the owner of the event saying you have to do this. So I show up on a night that the person that you put there is supposed to have done this and has never done that.
Yep.
I showed up to all these places. I paid the cover charge, and I seen who was at your show, and I seen your show. And for me, it's all a big dog and pony show, bro. I really think we have to, like you said, we're talking about, but just revisit. I think it's because the entertainment is bad. Like you said, you go to Nashville. In Nashville, at 11 in the morning, they have live performers in their bars. You hear what I said? 11 in the morning, there's somebody with a guitar, mic'd up, already starting to play.
see,
That's on the strip of 20 bars.
That's another thing too.
15 bars is gonna have that.
We gotta have
11
more
in the
people
morning.
with that kind of talent. It's not a lot of people learning guitar. It's not a lot of people that even want to.
Fair.
So it's like
the talent is really high.
we're thinking about raising the level with the people that don't care. That back in the day, you used to have to be spending mad money. Like you had to go to Merc to do one song. Now these guys do a whole album in their home, in their basement.
Yeah, I get
So and the quality's not going to be what it used to be, and they don't care. So it's like, why should they put that much effort into it? And these kids digesting music at a high level right now too. Like your first week sales is probably biggest you will ever get right now because these kids are onto something else. So it's different. It's right now it's difficult to be so peculiar about making your stuff so special and perfect and take all this time when they gonna consume your stuff and throw it out and half listen to it and spin it out if it ain't exactly like what it is.
Then I go back to Graham and I will speak for him because we had this discussion many a times, particularly just before COVID started. All through COVID, we were happy, but like I said, a year before, maybe 2 years before, when all of this stuff was getting washed out, all these like ridiculous $200 for 3 minutes. Come on.
Well, the game been like that for me.
What? You want me to pay you $200 to do one song?
But you know what though? A lot of that stuff ain't even. A lot of that stuff ain't even worth getting upset because you gotta think. Most of those shows to open is just one and done. You do the show, you didn't really gain no fans out of it.
It's
You know what
not
I'm
even a good investment.
It's not a good investment. So it's like, if people want that on their resume, open for Lil Uzi Vert,
That's
whoever's
another
gonna
thing,
be.
though. I could teach a class on
Right. So
on
it's all
what
about
where young artists make mistakes.
yeah.
Well,
And-
also too, at the same time, if you're gonna do that for a resume, get a camera guy to record it
Exactly.
so you can chop
There you
it
go.
up and
That's
make your
what
Take
you
one
do.
yourself
clip.
seriously.
Do it
Exactly.
Take
You can't just
yourself
go there just to
seriously.
say I did it. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna
That's
That's
believe
true
you.
what
because I know personally,
So-
that
Oh,
has helped me
what I miss?
lately. Like once I started investing in my own camera, my own stuff at home, like wow, things really actually took off a little more. Like I wish I did this when I was younger.
You need
Exactly.
visuals.
You gotta
Yeah.
record everything. You
That's
know what I'm
true.
saying? Because when you're saying, okay, I wanna send this video off to another person that is putting on some type of show in the next city. Once you show them, they're like, oh yeah, we can have you
Exactly.
on there, and you
That's
might
your
not
new
have to pay
press
as
kit.
much.
Extract,
That's your new
extract
question.
value from
Virality,
these
yeah.
situations.
And a lot of people understood that quicker than me because I did all those shows, Joe Button, all these different people,
Mhm.
Yep.
Fabulous, all these
Mhm.
different people,
Mhm.
Joel Santana, all the stuff I did
Yep.
with these different people.
Mhm.
I never thought to document the whole show.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
People in other cities, they make a whole night of it. They got
Wow. And
they got
think about,
camera
For
there.
real.
think about all that content you would have
They get
access
an
to
interview
right now.
with the guy. I didn't never do that.
Yeah,
I
you
never
do that.
I never processed like just because I'm so busy trying to make it. I was doing it by myself. I ain't had no team.
Yep.
So a lot of people.
That's what it is. You don't have no team.
No
So I
team.
feel you on that.
No
yeah.
team. So if you ain't got a team, you doing everything yourself. And when you could, like when I did Mobb Deep at Simon's, right?
Yeah.
That show was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. People still come to me this day, that Mobb Deep show. I can't believe. To this day, they still tell me how great that was.
Yep.
But if I was smart, my guy, this other guy documented it, made his own video and put it up. That should have been me making the video.
Yep.
He documented the whole thing.
Yep.
Everybody's like, oh, it looked like it's his show.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I didn't think to just have a team there documenting, getting interviews with Havoc. Havoc died not much longer than that. He died.
You mean Prodigy?
I mean, Prodigy died not much longer than that.
Yep.
So it's like I would have had one of his last
shows.
Yeah.
On film.
So like Beanie Siegel, when he had his issues with Jay-Z, right when he was at the height of his thing, somebody came to my show that I did with Beanie Siegel, got him to do that sound clip, and that clip went viral.
Yep.
That could have been my clip, but I wasn't thinking about that. They caught Beanie drunk, and he said, "What Jay-Z talked, whatever he talked about Jay-Z, that was at my show."
Yep.
That thing is talked about everywhere now, right?
Yep.
If I was smart, I would have capitalized on that. So it's
Like,
not
No,
about.
it's not that if you were smart, you just didn't have the right people around you to
Because
tell you
guess
that.
what? Like
Yeah.
being younger,
But I'm
like
about to
right
get
now
back
it's funny. I've been on a YouTube like scour myself because now that I know that I can now snatch the MP4, in the MP4 form. I've been searching all my old performances now. So I don't know if y'all noticed. I've been putting out a lot of like stuff when I was younger. Like I'm like, why don't I have this in my catalog?
Right.
But back when we was like doing the whole Who Them thing, like Merc and the Testers, so I know he's doing his thing over there. We got to a point where we realized we're just the artists, and we might not have the know-how of someone else. So we started putting together a team. Like we had a DJ here, we had D Smooth in here to do this. We had everybody, even just in case was like up in here doing this. We had producers like. We realized the main three rappers, like, that's what we want to do. We just want to rap. When I became solo after Who Them, it's like, oh my God, like, everything was on me. I didn't have the know-how to be like, all right, I got to start booking my own shows now.
Yeah.
But luckily I still have some links, some plugs to people. First it was Fliz or Who Them. I was driving off of that. So I just kind of.
That's why we're here, though. I think we're here to start networking and linking up and making what Demean is saying, the whole scene better.
Right.
Like where's there no infrastructure? And that's what we here. I think we don't even know why, but I think we here to create that.
I want to say this though, because it's important that I get it off. Like, there's been a time when I was like, nah, if this is how it's gonna be, my recommendation would be destroy it all,
Wow.
kill it all, because the sharks are gonna swim. Like, that doesn't bother you. If I say, yo, we're gonna kill every venue out here right now, as an artist, that doesn't bother you. You know why? Because you have vision.
I'm gonna figure
I'm
out.
gonna go someplace else. I got this. I can do this. It's not gonna bother him. The sharks are gonna swim. So for me, it was like, yo, all this garbage. I'd rather starve out the vultures, starve them out, and let the flowers continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a solution-based human, and I believe in, I was telling somebody else the other day, even hip-hop, the way it changed, like when we used to cipher, it was, we would destroy to build. Now these kids, they rapping just to destroy, right? In my head.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was like, I'm trying to be better than you so that your next verse could be better than mine.
Yeah.
So that my
Steel
next
shot
verse
steel.
could be better than yours.
Yeah.
So that your next, and then by the end of that cipher, everybody's
And that mentality created EPMD, by the way. They said. Yep.
interesting. That being said, I would like to do that for this culture, to make people to destroy to build. Like, if I give a jewel to a young person, it sounds aggressive. It's because I'm trying to give it to you. Like, yo, stop rapping over your vocals. Like, you're talented enough to learn your song and use your own voice. This is what the microphone is designed for. It's been happening for the last, 150 years of music. All of a sudden, you got to have your own vocals there.
Yeah.
And then they give you all the excuses. I've heard them a million times.
Each venues.
Then he needs to practice more. That's what they love to say. That's what they love to say. It's for the
first of
venue.
all, see, he ain't telling my full story. You want to tell the full story? See,
No. I just threw that in because we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, but you gotta
He
tell
has
the
it
full
under it
story.
because he's saying that
That's
some
frozen.
venues mics don't pick up your vote, and that's true.
I
But
recorded everything. When I record
you
stuff,
know,
I wanted to play
let me
back
say-
well for the
let-
people that
let-
support me.
Let me tell the jewel again for all artists.
Family, y'all be easy.
Peace.
All right,
Nice
see
to
that.
meet
Remy,
you.
nice meeting you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all appreciate y'all getting
Yeah.
me a seat at the dinner table. So y'all
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it. Rick, y'all be easy. Y'all stay safe.
All
For
right,
all artists. That's how you train your voice. There's a reason why I could talk. There's a reason why I could talk to 100 people with no microphone. Because I had to learn on shitty mics how to get my voice off. So now I can talk. I can talk down here, or I could talk way up there where I said crystal clear. Because it's a tool. It's a craft.
We're going to discuss that
Right?
another day.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss that another day. See, you
Sometimes-
I can't sit here and I can't sit here and just
Sometimes
not
you
say
don't
that.
have the right
Right.
size screwdriver,
I was
but you gotta
stupid.
get the screw out. You gotta get the hammer in. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
No doubt.
I think you're right, dude. I've heard
Hold
that
up for the
excuse so
camera.
No.
many times.
Listen. No.
That speaks to
Sit over because you're blocking the camera.
that speaks to the lack of
You're not talking about
infrastructure.
Yeah,
That speaks
infrastructure.
directly to the lack of infrastructure. The fact that you can go places and have shitty equipment.
Can I tell you something funny too? I used to back in the day, right? It was a lady. I was in DC. She was named Donessa. She used to make you sell tickets to her shows, but she would provide a rehearsal venue. So you had to go to that rehearsal venue. Maybe the show was 3 months out. You had to go every weekend to her rehearsal venue and rehearse. And you knew when you was going, who you were going before. All that was
all
planned
that
out
done.
before.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Now she used to make you sell tickets, which I
Okay.
know people have issue with, and you had to have the full amount. Like whatever, it was $300. You had to have the whole $300, or you wasn't gonna rap. I know people have an issue with that.
What
but
year
that's,
was this?
But this was back in this was like the early '90s. This was back.
So she was pioneering that.
Yes. So
Yeah,
she
but
was.
why we
she-
still talking
Let
about
me
the
see.
past? Like I said, we should.
No. But what I'm talking about is what I'm saying is he's talking about how people get up there, they're not ready, they're not good.
All right,
we're
well,
talking about
we're gonna hold
you're
that
talking
to
about-
now. We're gonna hold that to the promoter's feet, like he just said, blow it up. So again, we don't need to talk because the thing about it, like what we doing right now, today is a new day.
okay.
Today is a new day.
Tell
That's why y'all here.
This is how you
Solution.
Today is a new day. I don't.
One thing I'll say for this Move the Crowd event that's gonna happen on Tuesday.
That's what I wanted him to speak about too.
It's
See?
all about the next generation, and they got even though shout out to Joe Bruce again. I think he's watching right now.
Yeah.
He's one of the people who's on the panel with us. What we're gonna do is we're trying to, like, again, it's anti-gatekeeper the way it's supposed to be, but we're trying to really have the young people go at it and kind of be like, hey, you're gonna be judged on a level of like how nice are you, like, you know. So we're trying to eliminate certain ways, like we don't want you to just show up because your whole block show up so you look nice, you know. So we're trying to create a system where it's like, who is dirty here? And the people who are on this show, not gonna lie, it's gonna be crazy, the competition. So I like the format. I like what Jay Wan is doing.
Okay.
I'm not like what him and Jelly. I think them two are the brainchildren of it. But
It's a dope structure.
yeah, the way it is, I'm like, this is nice, and they're trying to get around all the BS, and they're also trying to be like, hey, let's look toward the future. Who are these young people who are gonna be like, and who should we
I
put
think that's how you do it.
our shit? And then whoever wins those, they're gonna be mentored by, like, I'm gonna be one of the mentors. So it's like, all right, I'm the past. I know I'm an OG. So it's like, all right, let's teach you. Here's where you lacked.
Okay.
You know, young man, all right, you're going up against in the final. You're going up against homie. We're gonna literally spend 10 hours together, me and a young man whoever comes in, like the last two.
How you know it's gonna be a young man?
Or it could be my bad. The young person. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. You know, I'm like, let me stop. I was like,
Go ahead,
thank you. Me and the young person, then Joe Bruce and another young person is gonna spend time and say, hey, here's where you're lacking. Here's what you should do. But also, we also understood we can learn something from that person too.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
You know what I mean? So it's like each one teach one, and mentoring. Here's how you can get better.
You know what's crazy though? As you're doing it, as you're saying this, I don't want to say it's sad because I think this contest is extraordinary. But to young artists, you don't need a contest to do that.
Okay, yeah.
To sit down with Fliz, with you,
But they don't
with
know
me,
that.
with anybody that is doing what you're trying to do or has some level of experience, I'm not unapproachable. You know what I'm saying?
I'm very approachable as well.
Again, I think the contest is great and the incentives are great, but we're talking about culture here, and that's what we're talking about, is that there is no culture where I think urban culture, I think the hip hop is so competitive, right? At its root that we don't often build with each other. And I think I'm at a stage as an elder, so I consider myself an elder in this, where I'm open to help people.
So in that also I think we have to stop the whole young versus the old argument, because I could tell you some young people don't want to approach the old people because they think we're going to judge them.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
like, yo, you're right. It's
but
like,
you know what though? Yes, yes.
to a degree, we're gonna judge it, and they want to be. I remember Snoop Dogg said to who's that dude when Snoop, it was like a religious figure who hated Snoop when he first dropped, and Snoop went on an interview and said, "You're an OG. You're supposed to school me. Don't come at me." He goes, "The way you came at me made him defensive." So I think like as a responsibility of us as an elder statesman, we can't attack them the way. It's like there's got to be a way of schooling instead of, oh, this garbage, dog. Like, you know, so now they're on defense. Like, oh, well, fuck you. Okay, I can swear on this?
No.
But F y'all, you know what I mean? I know, let me hold the swears back. So I'm just saying, working with young people all the time, this is their mentality. They're like, if it's F me, it's F you.
Right.
Because remember, we came up in an age where, like, you respect your elders. That's not now. The sentiment now is you respect me, I respect you.
Right.
So,
but the reason why that is, though, I want to say this too, because I've been doing this, is because men like me have to step up and start putting our foot down. Our whole generation. I say this and it's very harsh, right? We complain about certain things. People complain about one of the things I see people are concerned about is, let me say this, I'm concerned about the amount of adults at the bus stop. There'll be one adult for every kid at the bus stop.
Yep.
In America now.
Okay.
I think that's problematic.
I agree.
Whose problem is it? It's our problem. Because we the adults. So I'm in a space in hip hop and also in my community where I am in a space now where I'm willing to stand and be like, nah, that shit is wrong. Because nobody did that for I don't want to make it personal, but I didn't have a father. Hip hop was my dad. Isn't that strange? Hip hop, the shit I'm listening to, Intelligent Hoodlum, or blah blah blah, these historical jewels, mathematical jewels, scientifical jewels. That's the shit that really raised me.
Same here, Brooklyn.
There you go. So, the thing that I'm trying to internalize and really own now is I look at you and I look, we the men. This is our world. Everything we complaining about, like the way we used to look at our parents, it's like, yo, you guys are running shit. This is, whatever's going politically is your fault. I'm a kid. But now we got the kid. This is our world. So whatever problems we're dealing with, it's up to us to address them.
See, well,
period.
And it's gonna go to her.
Yeah.
Again, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is beyond music, based on what you just said.
Yeah.
Since 1999, I've been a counselor, therapist, worked at mental hospitals, worked at group homes, residential, everything. I realized when working with kids, all I did was put them right back in the environment that got them here in the first place. So I knew I needed to reach out to the mothers, the grandparents, and everything. I wrote books, published 3 books. In my music, there's always a message. He's still in the field. My other co-host, she's still in the field. Again, I don't want to talk about what's wrong. I'm done with the talk about what's wrong. As long as I got breath in my lungs, what can I do? Here's my start. It's not about money. Money will come with whatever you're doing correctly. That I ain't worried about. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the finances to do what I'm able to do. Right now, you're correct. We do have to apply the science. We have to apply. I came from a messed up background. I didn't have a father. I never met him. He probably dead. I don't know who I resemble. But guess what? I want to make sure the next person don't have to go through that.
Likewise.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's why with this self-care, we need situations like that. Please speak on what you're about to do April 23rd.
Okay, so April 23rd at 25 Maple Street, downtown Pawtucket, I'm going to be doing a self-care and mental health expo. And we're going to have some therapists there. We're going to have meditation and breath work experts there. And they're going to be teaching you strategies on how to improve your mental health, what you can do to de-stress, Because everybody thinks, oh, I'm just gonna light a candle, get in the bathtub. No, there's more options out there for you to de-stress and work on your mental health. There's meditation. You can speak to a therapist. I also want to change the narrative that, people of color, we grow up thinking, going to a therapist makes you crazy, right? That's not true. So I just want to spread awareness that no, speaking to a therapist is good because number one, it's a stranger. That person's not going to run your business. It's against the law for them to run your business. And you could just let your shit off. You know what I'm saying? Get it off and see if there's a chemical imbalance in the brain. Right now, I'm looking for someone who is a holistic health doctor because food affects your mental health too.
Correct.
What
Yeah,
we
agree.
eat. You know what I'm saying? All that blood, all that different things. We're gonna talk about detoxing.
Me and my wife own a massage therapy office, which is good for stress.
Oh,
and stuff
we're gonna
like that.
talk. So there's gonna be some therapist. Like I said, the therapist. She's a black therapist too. I've been looking for that for a long time. I think that's important to go to someone who looks like us. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. There's gonna be vendors there. We're gonna have a red carpet. I am affiliated with Forbes magazine, so Forbes will be in the building. POC Foundation as well as the NAACP. So I want everybody to come take some pictures on the red
This
carpet
right here
and
is
enjoy
a
yourself.
great example. Look at what she got coming to Pawtucket, Rhode Island. That place should be so packed that there should be a line trying to get in that building.
And
it's free.
It's free entry. But
said
that's what I
Maple
wanted to do. I feel like I shouldn't charge people to come and talk about your mental health and get the access that you need to these therapists and just networking in general.
And that's
And
taboo
that
in
makes
our
no
community.
sense.
That's.
If
So
I
how do
got
you-
it, I'm
how
gonna
do you-
do it.
How do you plan on dealing with the taboo? Like, is there any preemptive promotional ideas that you have with regard to dealing with the taboo? Because I think he touches on a huge word, and I would hate for this event, an event as important and impactful as this, to fall on deaf ears. Like,
Right.
for it to be something that this community doesn't fully embrace, and maybe they're not going to fully embrace it. That's
Right, and that's what I was
asking a lot.
afraid of is that, people of color would not want to come because it's about mental health, because it's not a turn up
Yeah,
event, because it's
bro.
not this, but I feel like the people who are that's older than me should be talking to these young folks and saying, hey, you do have an issue, you do have mental health issues. There's plenty of people on my Facebook timeline that's saying, I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna do this and do that, and I'm just like, all right, so we do need this stuff. So for me, I waited to do something like this until I felt like people knew about me more before I decided to do it, because I feel like people really look up to people who has a bigger
get it.
voice. You know what I mean? And
You said the 24th,
the 23rd
the
of
23rd,
April.
and have you considered like speaking people with access to like youth organizations, homeless shelters, places like that?
So everybody could be involved.
Yep.
Like I said, I feel like that's all involved with
Okay.
mental health. Even when it comes to veterans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
VA
come
hospital.
in, because even the therapist, she's like, I know that if some people don't have insurance, right? We
Yeah.
talked about this. She's like, I'll give them a 50% discount.
Yeah.
So you can come and talk to me. You know what I mean? I think it's important for us. It's not
vital.
especially, and I also wanted to say for business owners and people working a 9 to 5. Business owners, we go through a lot of stress. We don't sleep. I stayed up one time past 24 hours sending out emails, sending out pictures, sending out press releases, doing this because I don't have a team either.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know what I'm
blow right
saying?
there, though. See, not everybody has
Right. I worked myself so much that I was dehydrated. I wasn't eating right. I
Right.
ended up in the hospital. I had to get 8 bags of electrolytes because
Wow.
guess what I was doing? Working.
that. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, Remy TV's gonna pop. We about to da-da-da. And I ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
So that's another reason, because us as entrepreneurs, we really don't pay attention to, we're not drinking enough water today. How many bottles of water did you drink today? I'm like, damn. I think it was 1 bottle. That's crazy. But I drank a lot of soda or juice, or just, we're not paying attention to how we feel. We ignore the feeling. We ignore the dizziness. We just keep going.
And another thing that we just spoke on, you know why I like to celebrate people. She's married. That's what's going on. We need to talk about marriages. Like
Well, healthy relationships.
that's
Yeah.
obsolete.
Healthy relationships.
Where's it at? He's married. You know what I mean? That's what this was. He got a healthy relationship.
As do I.
I'm single, no
Okay.
kids. So
So that's what you really want to
I got a healthy relationship
Before we get off
with.
track, Remy TV, is that already up?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to find it. It's on. You said it's gonna be on Tubi.
Yep, it's gonna be on Tubi. It already airs on Dame Dash Studios. It airs on YouTube. It airs on TV9 and Peg Network.
This is her time. She got the floor.
Yeah, you was taking somewhere else. I brought it back there.
I know. He said healthy relationship. We can laugh too. Like dude. This is what we do on our. You hear our podcast? We laugh.
At least we ain't got no alcohol.
Hardy ha.
Thank God we ain't got no alcohol.
I'm done with y'all.
But yeah, so no, I'm putting together a Roku app. I'm in the process of doing it. I would like to see a TV thing. I might want to add it to that, but
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Anything else? We're gonna talk about. Flizz's gonna talk about his event before we go. You gonna talk about your event?
She's gonna wrap it up.
So, I can't remember the question that you asked me about being married.
No, I'm saying. See, that's one of the things that I think one of the problems is, like, I was just having a conversation with Valerie. We're about to do an episode Monday about fixing your credit, your finances, and again how to balance family life and your business. Because somebody asked one of that question in the comment section. The thing that we was talking about, me and her on the phone, we was talking about how important grandparents was to children and how important parents. Because I remember one of the things I remember growing up in New York. My grandparents used to sit at their feet and listen to the stories. And even though they're long, I still have the memories of them. And when I worked at the mental hospital and I told the doctors, I was like, you know what, we missing grandparents, wisdom. That wisdom is not there no more. That was the balance. Because your parents would feel a certain way and they get frustrated because they don't have that balance of being a parent yet, where the grandparents was like, come here, baby. She don't mean now. She just, and everything. You got to help your mother. Where's that balance? Matter of fact, most people can't even see their parents. What make you think they see their grandparents? So that's why I want to celebrate the fact that you're married and that people need to talk more about this, the family structure.
Right.
Regardless if you're married or not, the family structure needs to be talked
It's
about.
all about breaking generational curses and how those people grew up. Because I didn't have grandparents. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother is from Africa. So I never seen her because she always lived in Nigeria. My grandfather died. My grandmother passed before I was born. So I didn't have that structure. So of course, whatever I took from my mother and from my father, the good and the bad, that's all I had. So in order for me to do better and grow, which certain things that they didn't teach me, I had to get from other people and pull from other things. You know what I mean? From my teachers, from principals, to just looking at other people's households and saying, oh, wow, I like this structure that this family has, whatever. You know what I mean? As far as, like, talking things out, expressing your emotions and know how to do it. In some households, it's like, shut up, I'm your mom. You know what I'm saying? You do what I say, and you trying to express yourself that you're hurt or whatever, and they don't allow you to do it. So it's all about breaking generational curses. We don't have good structures all the time. You know what I'm saying? And even when it's going into marriage, you're taking what you learned in your whole life in your subconscious and you're putting it in your marriage, and you don't know if you're being terrible for that person. I grew up not knowing how to show love, we don't say I love you and stuff like that. So when my husband, he was like, I don't even know if you like me. You don't even hold my hand. What's wrong with you? And I'm a gangster, so I'm just like, hold their hand. What are you talking about? I thought we was good.
Take this.
And he was like, yeah, no, you don't show me no affection. And I thought about it and said, wow, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up around all guys. Like, how it looks like this is how I'm with my uncles and stuff like that, or my brothers. I didn't grow up with no females. I had no female energy, no feminine energy at all. So I had so I had to, like, look for it elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I got it from when my uncle finally got married. He married this feminine, beautiful woman. She's a business. I got that from her, and I was like, oh yeah, like, it's cool to be soft. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to not feel like you're like this all day.
How about feminine, not soft? Because some women.
Well, I don't care what they did. This is what this is my opinion. I just, when you're hard all the time and you grow up in a hood, you're just like that. You're always tight. You're always looking around. You're not.
You got a
loose,
defense.
But you don't notice that you're like that. And one day I sat down and someone said, Remy, why you look so tense? Why your shoulders up here? Just relax. And I'm like, it's just the way you grow up. Is you're fighting all the time. This is happening.
Yeah.
I grew up on Hanover Street when I was seeing some crazy stuff going down. You know what I'm saying? And I was I was a part of the mess.
Yep.
There's a lot of stories that I have
Doctor,
that
you
I'm
literally
surprised I
blocking her.
survived that as a female.
You literally in the way. Like, just move over a little bit. I think it's the other one.
So as a people, we have to want to break those generational curses and want to be better for ourselves. Get into spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Talk to people who are smarter than you. Talk to people who have more experience than you. Don't talk to your friend that's the same age as you that's still doing the same thing she was doing 10 years ago. I can't take advice from you because I'm not gonna grow. That's the whole point. It's growing pains so that you could teach someone underneath you. Like, yeah, you messing up. There was a few people that told me I was messing up, and I said I am. They're like, look what you just did. That's crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't even see it.
And I couldn't see it.
That doesn't happen enough in our communities, period.
Now,
For a
it's
long
a touchy
time.
subject with the therapist, though. The therapist has to understand that. So it can't just be any therapist. We need somebody who can understand your type of.
That's right, and don't be afraid to interview people because I'll cancel somebody in a heartbeat. If I'm talking to you and I feel like you don't get it and I feel a vibe, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next therapist. I need another person because she don't get it or he don't get it.
And a lot of times the therapist that's going to understand will be a black therapist. But they're hard to find. So you can go on a therapist registry and you're going to find it here and there, but then they're booked out. So it's hard to get in. So it's like, it's a whole thing. So it's like a regular therapist in a regular situation is going to be fine. But when you're dealing with the underlying issues of what we got to deal with growing up, and it's not always simple. It's a lot of, sometimes we got people in the homes that with you, your uncle live with you and he's touching you and all, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, which that happens everywhere, but it's different because you got to do that. Then you got to go in the street and fight too. It's just a lot of stuff weighing on you that other people might not be able to understand. So you need to pick a therapist that you can relate to.
Exactly.
Who can relate to your struggle as well and could speak to you in a language that you can relate, that you and it necessarily don't got to be black. I'm not saying that, but they have to understand you, and they have to understand your struggle. That it's not the same. You're not starting out with the same level playing field.
Exactly.
When you walk out the door, your playing field is already unbalanced. You got to watch. You got to do a different. You getting pulled over by the cops is different than they getting pulled over by the cops.
That's right.
You walking through the mall is different than them walking through the mall. You walking through a store is different than them. You walking through anywhere. Anything turn like this, it goes different for you. So that's an energy that you're carrying, and the therapist has to understand as well. It's not just A, B, and C. What I learned by the books. They got to be able to relate to your struggle as well.
Right, and like I said, don't be afraid to say, nah, this ain't it. Don't just stay in it because don't be shy about your mental health. If you're not feeling a person, just say, yeah, nah, this is not going down like that because the whole point is for you to get help.
And
It's the same
therapists
thing with
themselves,
anybody
they're
in
in and
general.
out of clients, so they won't take it personal.
Yeah,
They're in
they're
and out
not.
of clients, like what?
Yeah, but some people are afraid. Some people are afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid.
Me,
to
I
speak up.
don't want to cause a conflict with a person. Like I'll go to order something and it come wrong. I'll eat it 9 times out of 10. I'll be like, you know what?
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Just gonna
In
eat
life, you can absolutely not.
It's
You gotta fix that.
It's degrees. It's degrees as far as that. Like the older I got, I've learned like, no, I'm worth it. You know what I mean?
Hold up,
like,
though.
yep.
Because before we go, I want everybody to do a closing remark, but I also want y'all to talk about your events coming up. Well, we're gonna go in order. Your event, Move the Crowd.
Yeah, I'm just blessed to be a part of the event. It's J1 and I think Medusa Blacks. It's more their brainchild, but they needed someone who they respected, you know, and someone who can talk, like, you know, for the old school and you know. So thank you, you know, for hitting me up. It's called Move the Crowd. That's on the 29th at Alchemy. It's gonna be a dope competition. We spoke on it earlier, but it's gonna be real fly. And it's only round 1. There's gonna be a round 2 that comes. I think don't quote me. I think it's the 30th though. But pretty much all the up and coming young guns are gonna be on here, doing their thing, trying to take each other out, and not like battle rap sense. It's just your song against the other person's song. So it's not like not gonna be two MCs.
It's like American Got Talent type thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. So I will say shout that out and peep that on the 4th also for the Super Friends event. I'm saying with us all there, and check out my website. I'm always gonna promote that now. Flizzmusic.com. Everything is on there from the very clothes I'm wearing for GWAT down to music and videos and everything.
Bang.
Yep.
I'm not really up to nothing, man. I came here because you invited me. I'm always up to something, so let me be more specific. I want to say this. This is what I want to say. And
Your closing remarks?
Solution, my closing remarks. One of my solutions is I would like to publicly say that I'm willing to help any young MC who's trying to develop their skill sets, be it performance.
You even help older MCs, so I respect
any MC,
right?
I'm at a stage in my life where I've been doing this long enough where I think I know enough about certain nuances, be it writing, performing, engaging with other people in the industry, that I would like to provide that service for everybody. So you can contact me, Demean Syron, DEMMENESYRONN. That's everywhere. Also Syron.com. And in the meantime, my focus this year is just continue to produce content. I have a new goal that I'm not going to say out loud yet, but I'm trying to manifest it within the next 2 years. And I want to say it's going to put me in a place where I might be the only person in the world to accomplish it. So that's my goal. That said, Syron.com or Demean Syron, and I would love to help all young artists get better at their craft. You feel free to inbox me on any of my socials, Instagram or Facebook. Word.
Well, I'm going to be the first to tell you, I'm not helping nobody. No, I'm joking. Nah.
I was gonna say that contradicts itself because you're helping us.
No. So put it like this. Super Friends, my April 4th, 7 o'clock, Alchemy, that's it. And CLBMG.com. Got a Clash podcast with me and this fool right here every Wednesday. we just put it on. It's the same way you're watching it right now on all of my. It's live on all of my profiles right now, except for Instagram. They don't do that, but it's on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at the same time every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We talk about we don't narrow it down to we really pretty much just talking about old school.
Talk about everything.
Just old school stuff. Like we're just having fun, man. Talking about just old school stuff that is still interesting. So we're just having discussions. And I want to wrap up just thinking about the community. We just need to build in whatever. I feel like there's more than one heaven. And whatever heaven I want to build it, I'm gonna build that. He built his, and at some point, all of these heavens gonna be linked in some kind of way where it's beneficial to everybody. Because everybody's idea of heaven ain't the same. If you wake up butt naked in a cupcake, that means you died and you went to your own heaven, and it is what it is.
Not a cupcake.
and on that note, I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side. Remy's next.
Okay. So April 23rd, 25 Maple Street from 2 to 6. Remy TV's Mental Health and Self-Care Expo. I hope to see you guys there. Come and take pictures on the red carpet, mingle, talk to the DJ, talk to the therapist, and all that good stuff. The last remark I want to make is don't forget to speak love and light into other people, because you never know who's on the edge. You could be talking to someone and you could say something real shitty to them, and it's done for them. You know what I mean? So always speak love and light into others.
Love it.
I want to send a great appreciation to you because I'll be following you on Facebook, and you're going to Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be paying attention.
Yep. So I'll be hosting an event with like Angela Simmons.
Talk about all the stuff you're doing. Like,
I'm
modest.
I'm gonna. I'm supposed to be setting up an interview with Fat Man Scoop, so I'm definitely willing to take in some questions that anybody that they would like me to ask him. Because
That's
you know
where
I
Brooklyn at.
love interviewing the legends because you could tell between who's seasoned and who's new in the industry. Like, you know, so where you from? Yeah, I'm from this. But then this person like, yeah, I'm from here. This is what we did. Blah blah. I just love interviewing the artists because they go into depth about what they do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, somebody went to a movie and came out and looked at their phone, and we still on.
That's funny.
Somebody went in the movie theater and we was live, and then they came out the movie theater and we still
movies
live.
are shorter than what they are now, but here.
I
They're
did.
like, damn, they still
Go
talking.
ahead.
I did forget one thing.
No, dude.
That's it. It's probably pretty big. You know what it is? You said modesty to her, and it's like, yeah, I do stuff sometimes. But the announcement is beginning of summer, June 1. Dirty, Graham and myself will have a product. Now we just let me just say I won't say secure. We're in the verge of securing an opportunity with 2 of the 3 dispensaries in the state of Rhode Island.
All right.
A marijuana flower product on the shelf.
Yeah.
So we've been working on that for the last few months. Well, really a long time, but more actively in the last month. We're in the process of research and development, so you can imagine that's a lot of blunt smoking.
I don't smoke, people.
But it is a necessary evil for us to give our community a product that we feel like represents
We do a whole show.
our smoking experience.
A whole show.
And also, I think it's important to recognize that there's a huge controversy about men of color, or people of color, not just men, being in this industry. And it's important that we identify ourselves as people who have managed to insert ourselves.
We're gonna talk off camera. We're gonna
into that industry.
We're gonna get on all because the last thing I want to address is first and foremost, it wasn't just about rappers. We wasn't just here for rappers. That's why I knew she was coming. And we talking about entertainment, media, self-awareness, self-help, everything. Because again, we talk about clash, but on our podcast, we talking about relationships and the mentals. Don't get emotional.
Podcast.
Yeah. So DJs, you're welcome. Like I said, there was supposed to be me and you. It started with me and you. This whole thing started with me and you. I was just like, you know what? I want to get this man. It could have been a phone call, but I think everybody needed to hear this.
Well, I'm available. I like these again to give back. That's where I'm at. Is to try to find a place where if people are listening, to impart these jewels because. You know, tomorrow's never promised. I don't
That's what.
die with all
This is
information.
recorded. This is forever. This is going everywhere.
And we also need to figure out how can we bring the entertainment industry here because there is none. There's no movie premieres. I'm sick of flying to LA. I'm sick of going out.
Nothing.
Where's the movie premiere?
Dude,
here?
listen,
I'm
that's
trying
what
to- I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to-
infrastructure.
what's
That's-
up?
There's no infrastructure.
That's what I'm talking about today. Today's a new day.
Yeah.
I'm going all out with what I'm doing. There ain't no half stepping, Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah.
But there ain't no half stepping. I was like, it's either I'm gonna go. Put it this way: if this doesn't work the way I want it to work, when I disappear, y'all never seeing me
No, we
again.
gonna
I'm
make it
gonna,
work.
I'm gonna hit exactly. That's my
We gonna-
point.
we gonna
We
make
gonna
it work.
make this work.
Like I said, Hocus Pocus is being filmed here.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 is going to be in LA, the movie premiere. Now, how come we can't do it here and get all the people who want to do
To that
media
credit,
and get their first celebrity shit?
didn't Medea just premiere a movie out here?
That
Yep.
was you talking about
Stanley.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
Stanley.
Stanley and them.
Stanley,
Yeah.
the Bear movie.
Yep, Pray for the Bear.
Pray for the
Right.
Bear.
Yeah, shout out to
Which I
Stan.
ended up missing.
Yes.
I saw it online when I was working.
So yo,
But hold on, as we wrap up we were talking about the movie scene. My son wants to be a screenwriter and this and that, and he's like, Dad, I think I'm just gonna move to New York. And I'm like, the screenwriters here, they have a whole network here. He's like, he doesn't see it.
Right.
So that's how a lot of people feel. They gotta leave.
listen again.
There's a venture called Hip Hop Film Club.
We gotta shut this down because we got people that's coming in now. This is my session.
I got
So
it.
we
I
gotta-
get it.
We gotta shut this down. That's why I'm.
There's a venture called Hip Hop Film Club that Yassine is looking at starting. So you might want to speak to him about that.
Okay.
I think he's watching anyway. He was.
Right.
Yep.
So listen, thank y'all for those that's watching.
Thank you.
We
Nah,
appreciate
thank you. I
y'all.
appreciate you.
Listen, this is just the beginning. I told you, I'm not playing. I'm a grown man. I'm wiser. It's
Yeah,
time to
wise.
get it in. Cut, Merc.